This is not 2016. There aren't the final months of a second-term constitutionally lame duck presidency with a presidential election fast approaching. We're right in the middle of this president's very first term. To my knowledge, nobody on either side has ever suggested before yesterday that the Senate should only process Supreme Court nominations in odd-numbered years. The situation today is much like when Justice Kagan was confirmed in 2010, and when Justice Breyer was confirmed in 1994, and Justice Souter in 1990. In each case, the president was about a year and a half in to his first term.
Yeah, it's just silly. There is no, and in fact, Mitch McConnell later on, after Kristen Gillibrand was saying, oh, we got to invoke the McConnell rule, which is about the 8th year of an 8-year presidency. Mitch McConnell shows up on Fox News with Shannon Bream to say this, cut number 7.
Mitch McConnell has set the rules. He said we will not allow a Supreme Court justice during an election year. Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We should not allow a justice in an election year.
Your response, sir?
She left out an important word. What I said in 2016 is that we shouldn't fill a Supreme Court vacancy in the middle of a presidential election year. The last time I looked, there is no presidential election this year, and in fact, 3 current members of the U.S. Supreme Court were completed in election years, non-presidential election years, and the president's nominee to the Senate vacancy will be confirmed in a non-presidential election year. We expect to get a nomination from the president rather soon, and we should be able to work our way through the confirmation process sometime before early fall, hopefully in time for the new justice to begin the fall term of the Supreme Court, which, as an old Supreme Court reporter, you know is the first Monday in October.
So I think it's going to be sooner than that. I hope the president moves quickly. I changed my morning line. Yesterday I told you it was 2-1 for Brett Kavanaugh. He was the only one at 2-1. Brett Kavanaugh being a very well-respected judge on the District of Columbia Circuit. After a day of listening, talking, reading, writing, hearing, I've added one other person to the front rank, and that's Judge Raymond Ketledge of the United States Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit. Now, that's the circuit that covers Michigan, Ohio, Tennessee, and Kentucky. He is not, sadly, a Buckeye. In fact, he's a double Michigan guy, so I have to overlook that. He went to University of Michigan undergrad, and he went to the University of Michigan Law School, and no doubt he roots for the University of Michigan. That's a very sad thing. But he's been on the appeal court for a decade, and he's an extraordinary judge. He is Neil Gorsuch 2.0. Same kind of character, same kind of writing ability, same judicial views, same temperament. I've been going over his record on everything, basically, because when I dig into these people, and I go around and I find that he's demonstrated this commitment with upholding the rule of law and applying it as written. The Wall Street Journal gave the editorial board called his rebuke of the EEOC once the opinion of the year. He's smashed up the IRS a couple of times, especially with regard to their persecution of Tea Party groups. Co-author of a book, Lead Yourself First, Inspiring Leadership Through Solitude. His clerks love him, of course, but that's not saying much. Clerks love their judges. Most of the time, if they don't, that person's out. But he's had a lot of cases on the administrative state. Okay, to me, this is the most important thing going on. As Larry Arnn likes to put it, shall we rule the government or will the government rule us? He's with us ruling the government. He'd be a terrific, it would make Donald Trump the most significant president in 20 years for taming the unelected part of the government. Very strong on the Second Amendment, very strong on property rights, very strong on criminal law and procedure, and on religious liberty. There is no one equal. So Raymond Ketledge, remember that, Ketledge. Been hearing his name a lot. I've also been hearing Senator Lee. Look, I got one concern with Senator Lee, and that is an open seat where Evan McMullin shows up and decides to run. Now, if they put Jason in the House, Jay Chaffetz, if they make Jason the senator, then I don't worry about Evan showing up. But if you name someone who's just not a very high-profile guy, Evan's going to show up and run an anti-Trump campaign. We don't need that. So I'm kind of thinking Mike Lee's got to wait a bit. But I also like Joan Larson from Michigan and Amy Barrett from the Seventh Circuit. Don Willett is a good friend of mine, and I think a terrific, sharp mind. David Strauss has 10 years on Judge Kethledge at 41 or 42. There are 6 or 7 terrific A-listers. The president's just got to pick one quickly, hopefully this weekend. I'd love to have a nominee out by Monday. Stick around, America. We'll get more reaction when we return to the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Portions of the Hugh Hewitt Show are brought to you in part by Patriot Mobile.
Full fair share of this $34.6 billion, you must have your ducks in a row ASAP. So don't wait. Go see Matt at ClaimFreedomChecks.com. That's www.ClaimFreedomChecks.com.
America. We're a nation built by hard work. And when we get knocked down, we get back up. Now we're making a comeback. Starting to grow faster than we have in years. Wages are going up. We have more job openings than people looking to fill them. American trade, free trade, is essential to that prosperity, powering our economy, creating jobs. But we could be risking it all because tariffs will raise prices in America, hurting American workers and small business owners, hurting farmers who get penalized selling food overseas, hurting families raising children. If we want to keep growing, we must keep trading, not tax ourselves with tariffs and make our businesses less competitive. Protect American trade. Support freedom. Oppose tariffs. Paid for by Freedom Partners Chamber of Commerce.
This is the Hugh Hewitt Show.
You keep getting those annoying invitations in your mailbox. I even know some of you have your AARP card, and I know what you're saying. I like the benefits and the discounts. But AARP is using your membership dollars to support their liberal beliefs. AARP was against the tax cuts. They sided with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and against you. Rather than join a liberal lobbying group that stands against everything you believe in, join AMAC. AMAC is less than $20 a year, and AMAC helps with insurance plans, travel, and other discounts and benefits. AMAC's card will pay for itself 10 times over. But when you choose AMAC, your dollars go to support your ideals, your values, like getting rid of Obamacare, protecting our borders, and protecting our Constitution. And AMAC gets its voice from you, from the members, over 1 million strong. Don't choose the liberal AARP. Choose the group that represents your ideals, your values. Join at amac.us right now. That's amac.us. The way you get your medicine prescriptions is now changing across America. GoGoMeds.com can deliver your medicine right to your door. Ask your doctor to send your prescription to GoGoMeds.com. Once you fill in your information, it's in the system and your prescription is delivered. It's just that easy. Go to GoGoMeds.com and use the promo code MIKE2018 and save $10 on your first prescription. That's GoGoMeds.com, and the promo code MIKE2018 gets you $10 off your first prescription.
Are you a timeshare owner that would like to get out of your timeshare the right way? Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Lone Star Transfer. Getting out of your timeshare is probably at the top of your to-do list for 2018. Now is the time to make the call to simplify your life. We have an excellent track record and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. So if you want to get rid of those high maintenance fees and annual bills for vacations you never take, call 844-284-4863 or visit us online at LoneStarTransfer.com. That's 844-284-4863. For over a decade, we have been working in timeshare owner advocacy to help those stuck in timeshares. Let us help you with a legal and ethical solution. Call us today for a private, no-obligation consultation. We will give you a solution that will get you out of your timeshare once and for all. Call 844-284-4863 or LoneStarTransfer.com. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Let me say it, let me pour and no go flow. Let me reach, let me beach, the shores of Tripoli. Let me say it, let me
Friday music on the Hugh Hewitt Show from the ReliefFactor.com studio, America. By Enya, I believe. Am I right about that, Adam? little Friday music. Chillin', chillin', chillin'. Raymond Ketledge serves on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit in Ann Arbor. Been there since 2008. He's published 130 majority opinions, 50 concurrences and dissents. Widely regarded as the best writer on the federal bench. He writes all of his opinions by himself from scratch. He doesn't use clerks to draft. He clerked for Justice Kennedy, like Justice Gorsuch. He grew up in Michigan. Now, this is the downside, right? He grew up in Michigan. He graduated from University of Michigan and went to University of Michigan Law School, my alma mater. He was number 2 in his class. I was not. Unlike every current justice on the Supreme Court, he did not attend Harvard or Yale for law school. Do we have the applause meter, please? Can we bring that up? I know that Brett Kavanaugh did, and it's not intended to be a slap on him. But he clerked for Judge Ralph Guy, a great Reagan appointee up in the Sixth Circuit. Yeah, not Yale, not Harvard. University of Michigan. He's an avid outdoorsman like me. Spends his summer on his fishing boat in Lake Huron. He fishes Lake Claire, St. Clair in the fall, hunts with his son up north in the Upperland. Committed originalist, textualist, believes constitutional and statutory cases is to, quote, apply the meaning that the citizens bound by the law would have ascribed to it at the time it was approved. There is originalism. Public meaning you get from dictionaries, common usage, and context. Purposive interpretation, living constitution nonsense, rejects that. Says it seriously misconceives the judicial role. He has never relied on legislative history. Can we have the applause, please? You do not rely on legislative history. Legislative history is what happened to the applause. It sounded like it crackled up there. There you go. No legislative history. Judge Ketledge is right about that. Very, very principled conservative, has staunchly defended religious liberty, including legislative prayer. The federal government should tend to what is Caesar's and leave the rest alone. That's a direct Ketledge quote. He has described Chevron deference as a judicial abdication of the Article 3 power. Can we have the applause, please? He's been compared to Justice Gorsuch for broadly criticizing judicial deference and specifically criticizing deference to federal agencies under Chevron. Standing ovation. Boo! Yay! Chevron, go! We hate Chevron here at the Hugh Hewitt Show. Very experienced trial lawyer and appellate litigator. He's 51 years old. By the way, Michigan is a swing state. Michigan is a swing state. Michigan is a swing state, and John James would be happy with him or Judge Larson. So Raymond Ketledge shooting up the boards on Supreme Court talk. Meanwhile, my colleagues are they're just getting so upset. Rachel Maddow with Nicole Wallace, cut number 8.
I think that Democrats right now are facing a test because Democrats have a limiter on their behavior. They're like, you're driving a stock car and it tells you that it can go 220 miles an hour or something, but then when you're actually driving it in real life, you find that it gets to a limiter. Democrats have a limiter that Republicans don't have in modern politics right now, and you might disagree with me on this, but I think that Democrats are really constrained by this idea that you should honor precedent and that you should play fair and that you shouldn't make radical departures from the way. Stop.
Okay, Rachel going all NASCAR on us with the plate limiter, which Dwayne has educated me in over the years. That's cool. That's good television. But to forget that Harry Reid destroyed the rules in 2013 when he thought they had a Senate majority for the rest of his life.
Oh, wait till you go through this. This gets better.
Well, we'll save it for after the break because I got to listen to this. I love Rachel. I love MSNBC. I'm doing my show tomorrow morning. Come join me. I'm going to have on Larry Arnn, Dr. Larry Arnn, president of Hillsdale College. But I got to tell you, we don't do anything. We have a limiter. Like, his name is Harry Reid, and he destroys the rules of the Senate that have been there for 200 years. But don't bother with that fact. I'll be right back, America. Raymond Ketledge. Remember that name. Stick around.
Portions of the Hugh Hewitt Show are brought to you in part by the Association of Mature American Citizens, AMAC.
a non-stop action-packed information blitz. The Hugh Hewitt Show is coming right back.
Hey, Mike, how's the house coming along?
Needs a ton of work. The pipes are leaking. Needs a new roof. The AC just broke. I just don't have time to do it all myself. You know anyone?
Oh, just ask Home Advisor. They match you with the best local pros for any home project.
Cool.
Yeah, you can read reviews and book appointments online.
What's it cost?
Actually, Home Advisor is always free to use.
Nice. I'll check it out.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor. This is how Guy Berkebile is using the new tax cuts at Guy Chemical.
When the tax cuts passed, we are seeing the effects immediately. The tax cuts are enabling me to take care of my employees and to pay them a higher wage. We are increasing bonuses this year 25 to 50%, which equates to thousands of dollars in additional pay for my employees.
If you're a business owner, tell us how you're using the tax cuts. Go to taxcutswork.com and share your comments. That's taxcutswork.com.
This is the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Let's check the opening numbers now on the Chicago Board of Trade on this Friday morning. I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network. Corn a bit higher, beans opening a bit higher, and wheat trading higher to open this Friday. July corn up 2.5, 347.5. September corn up 2 1/4, 356.5. December corn up 2 1/4, 368.25. July beans up 3/4, 862. August beans unchanged, 866 3/4. September beans 872. Make that 872.5 unchanged. July wheat up 9.5. 489. September wheat up 7 1/4, 490 3/4, and December wheat up 7.5 to start the day at 507. July bean meal 331.90 up 50 cents. July bean oil unchanged. I'm Jim Taylor.
WGGH Marion.
Jared Ramos, Indianapolis Gazette shootings. He faces 5 charges of murder. Ramos had filed a defamation suit against the newspaper years before allegedly opening fire into the newsroom and killing 5 people. Correspondent Abby Phillips says the community remains stunned and saddened.
The entire state remembers them. The governor of Maryland ordering the flags fly at half-staff in their memory.
The Iowa Supreme Court this morning has blocked a law requiring a 72-hour waiting period before an abortion. In Guatemala City, Vice President Pence is calling for an international effort to halt illegal migration.
I say with great respect to the presidents gathered here, this exodus must end. It is a threat to the security of the United States.
This weekend, more than 600 rallies are planned nationwide to oppose U.S. immigration policy. On Wall Street, the Dow up 270, S&P up 24. I'm Mike Moss.
It's Jeff from Cat Spot Litter. If you own a cat, you know how much of a hassle it is buying that heavy, dusty clay litter at the store every couple weeks. Are you ready to save time and money? Well, listen up. I've invented a new cat litter that is lightweight, dust-free, and made from 100% real coconut. It's called Cat Spot Litter. There ain't nothing better at zapping cat urine smells either. The best part, for only $15, we ship a 30-day supply right to your front door. Shoot, we even offer a money-back guarantee. Jump on the coconut bandwagon and get rid of that toxic clumping clay litter. Start thinking healthy for you, your cat, and our planet. Go to catspotlitter.com and give it a try. Use promo code SAVE for 15% off your first order. Hey, I appreciate you listening.
In a galaxy far, far away,
actually in Marion,
there was a threat to all mankind.
Well, maybe not all mankind.
A computer was about to explode.
Okay, so maybe not explode, but there was a computer on the fritz. Same difference.
Fortunately, the Sci-Fi guy was close by. He heard his number being dialed. In the blink of an eye, the Sci-Fi guy was there fixing the computer.
Okay.
For Southern Illinois Wireless Internet isn't a superhero in real life, but they might as well be. So the next time your computer's on the fritz, call the nerds first. Call the people who are reliable, fast, dependable, trustworthy, smart, and locally owned at the first sign of trouble. For Southern Illinois Wireless Internet, don't cry. Call the SciWi guy at 997-7494. That's 997-SciWi. 997-SIWI. Okay.
The only thing that works harder than you is your tools. If you depend on air tools or compressors to keep you in business, you can't afford downtime. There's a Bostitch, Mighty M, and Spray Tech authorized warranty service center right here in Southern Illinois. But they can work on all makes and models of air tools. Nelson's Air Tool Service in Marion stocks and sells, as well as handles both warranty repairs and regular non-warranty repairs. Impact wrenches, compressors, nailers. If it runs on air, they can fix it. Nelson's Air Tool Service Marion. Open Monday through Friday, 8 till 5. Call 618-997-2101.
Southern Illinois weather.
An excessive heat warning takes effect this afternoon, and a heat advisory takes effect tonight. Isolated storms are possible through the day with partly sunny skies otherwise and highs reaching the mid-90s. With the humidity, will feel more like 112. Southwesterly winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies expected tonight. Low temperatures will dip down to the mid-70s. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, I'm Nikki Latola on Monster Radio AM 1150. Right now, it's 82.
Oh my gosh, we survived. It's been so long. Get out the door, living constitutionalists. Be gone. No more holding your breath to find out what to do. Oh my gosh. We have made it up the mountain. I've been telling people, my career has been about electing senators and confirming judges. And when you lose the presidency, you're out of the game, and you say, okay, we can, those guys can make it, we can survive. Bring that music back. I'm on a roll here. And then you look at someone like Raymond Kethledge sitting out there, or Brett Kavanaugh, or Amy Barrett, or Don Willett, or David Strauss, or Joan Larson, and you say, they're going to replace Anthony Kennedy. And you know, it was worth it. Every dime you gave to every Senate candidate, we got to win 4 or 5 more seats, by the way, because we're going to have 2 more of these things probably in the next 3 years. And then I can lay down and rest, because an originalist Supreme Court doesn't decide anything. It just doesn't tip the scales. That's okay. We have survived. Originalism has survived. You know, I got to bring Eastman on at some point and talk about this, because Justice Kennedy, God bless him, sweet man, was unpredictable and would most of the time rule with the originalists and sometimes not. I mean, he invented this entire jurisprudence of same-sex orientation, and that's fine. It's protected by stare decisis. It's not going anywhere. It didn't change the world. But if he'd gotten into redistricting, I tried to explain this to Brett Stevens yesterday, everything is about judicial deference to the legislative bodies and the president and to the states, and judicial smashing of administrative arrogance and unelected bureaucracies. It is about protecting your freedom to understand the world and to go out and pray as you want and to find meaning. It's about liberty. And originalists know that. That was my debate with Justice Breyer, 10 years ago. He came to the studio. We spent a couple hours talking about his book. And he said, well, Hugh, Supreme Court, the founders didn't know anything about the Internet. They didn't know about television. To which I replied, but they knew about liberty, Justice Breyer. They knew liberty. That's all you got to, if you know liberty, you know how to decide these questions where it is ambiguous, and it's not often ambiguous. But the left knows that they're losing their engine of change for good. Not for good. For as long as Justice Kennedy, as long as the 5 members either stay in good health or retire right away. And if they're not in good health, they ought to retire right away. I don't know their health, but they ought to retire if they're not in good health. They're in great, and they ought to be seeing the doctor because we got to go 15 years with an originalist court, 20 years with and get people back into the habit of understanding this. The Federalist Society's got to grow and bloom. But Rachel Maddow, my colleague at MSNBC, God love her. Now, I talk to more people every morning than Rachel does at night, and that's good. And I talk to people who are in the center and the left, and I talk to everyone. I want to bring everyone to the middle. That's what I want to do. Rachel represents just sort of pure, unredacted, here's what the hardcore liberal thinks. And here's what she believes. She does not believe this. She believes it, but you got to hear it. Cut number 8.
I think that Democrats right now are facing a test because Democrats have a limiter on their behavior. They're like, you're driving a stock car and it tells you that it can go 220 miles an hour or something, but then when you're actually driving it in real life, you find that it gets to a limiter. Democrats have a limiter that Republicans don't have in modern politics right now, and you might disagree with me on this, but I think that Democrats are really constrained by this idea that you should honor precedent and that you should play fair and that you shouldn't make radical departures from the way things have been done in this country for generations, if not centuries. And Republicans are unconstrained by that right now. And so when Mitch McConnell and Republicans in the Senate decided they were not going to allow President Obama to make a Supreme Court nomination, that was a Republican hardball tactic that almost no Republicans had any problem with. Democrats would have to play a similar kind of hardball now to try to keep this seat from being from being a nomination and a confirmation before there's a new Senate potentially chosen and a new Senate majority potentially chosen in November. Democrats don't like to break precedent. They don't like to do radical things. But the whole reason Neil Gorsuch is there and Merrick Garland isn't is because Republicans acted so radically
Stop. What precedent was broken that led to Neil Gorsuch being confirmed on a simple majority? He didn't get 60 votes. It was the precedent that you need 60 votes for a judicial nomination. All right? That was the precedent. And to break a filibuster. Now, Clarence Thomas wasn't filibuster because there's also a precedent you do not lightly filibuster, but you had the right to filibuster. Harry Reid broke that rule with the Reid rule, radical Reid rule in 2013. Radical. It had been threatened before by Bill Frist. I'm honest about this. I know that the Republicans threatened it too, but they didn't use it. They used it to get the Gang of 14 to agree to the rules where cloture would not be invoked, meaning a filibuster would not stand in the way of a nominee except in extraordinary circumstances. And then Harry Reid tried to limit it, said, it only applies to the lower courts. And then they filibustered Neil Gorsuch, who's so well qualified like Ketledge. And so I just don't know how people can say that with a straight face. But more importantly, I guess Nicole Wallace doesn't know. Or the performance art that has become television, you're not allowed to say. All right, the Free Beacon has a media montage of the left freaking out over Justice Kennedy. Cut number 3.
Because there ain't no way to sugarcoat this. Today, Justice Anthony Kennedy announced he's retiring from the Supreme Court.
The only swing vote on the Supreme Court is gone. Who cares about anything anymore? I'm going crazy, people.
We're looking at a destruction of the Constitution of the United States, as far as I can tell.
They've not allowed somebody to come into the Supreme Court for 30 years. For 30 years because they won by one vote. It's not going to be acceptable.
And Roe v. Wade is doomed. It is gone. And it's not just abortion. It's eliminating affirmative action. It's eliminating even the possibility of any sort of gun control, allowing a greater use of the death penalty.
You are not a straight white male in America right now. You are probably freaking out.
I think it's going to be almost like Spanish Civil War stuff. You watch.
Get out of my behind. Get out of my vagina. Get out.
Against the reality of the map in the Senate here in a little bit.
If you lay down like the experts are saying, and lay down and accept this as history that can't be stopped, you're going to see a political party in serious implosion.
What should Senate Democrats do?
They have to raise hell. That it is time for you guys to get mean and fight. Are you ready?
Yes. I think the Democrats have to say, no way, non passario, no one passes this line.
And it will be unforgivable if Democrats roll on this.
If they allow this to proceed, they're going to look stupid, they're going to look weak, and they're going to be overthrown.
In some ways, it feels like all hope is dead, and nothing can bring it back.
We are hearing from the president on this issue, and I do want to listen to his comments.
He's not going to decide this thing.
This is just very funny, the Free Beacon. I can't believe they left out the Spanish Civil War line by Chris. That's the best one. Okay, Kristen Gillibrand, New York Senator, on with Chris Cuomo. Cut number 5.
I don't think that's going to happen, Chris, because the president's told us it's not going to happen. President Trump said, I'm going to pick from this list of 25, and that my goal in any one of these justices is to overturn Roe v. Wade. He already made it very clear who he was going to choose and why he was going to choose it. So to think that you're going to have a normal process under this president who hasn't done anything normally at all, I think is not... It's not a smart bet, because the truth is he's not going to do it. He's going to pick an ultra-conservative. And nobody believed him. No one believed him.
Still got the votes.
He didn't get a vote from one Democrat. And I believe now that we've seen what Gorsuch has done on this court, he's already undermined women's rights. He's already undermined union rights. He's already undermined basic civil rights in this country. I don't think people are going to trust that President Trump isn't going to do what he said he was going to do.
Didn't he? Are you right that he didn't get one vote? Didn't he get three? Didn't he get Manchin?
He got no Democratic votes.
He didn't get Manchin, Heitkamp?
He did not. They stood strong, and they passed it with Republican votes.
Oh, I thought he got three, by the way.
You might be right, Chris, but I believe this Democratic caucus will stand together, because you're really deciding.
Okay, stop.
Isn't that fun? Well, it's fun. You know, I don't revel. I've been in that position once in 45 years or so. I might have gotten something wrong, but it's rare. It's very rare. I might have gotten a Supreme Court, a Super Bowl pick wrong. Clint Howard owes me like 55 meals because I've gotten Super Bowl picks right all these years. But that is very funny. Cory Booker certainly trying to out everybody in terms of exercising outrage. Cut number 2.
Well, I think there are a lot of things that we have to be very clear and honest about as a country right now, and perhaps one of the biggest things that has been shaking this administration is that this president is a subject of a criminal investigation. And so here you have a president that has been making a whole lot of loyalty tests and other things from people. We know this now. Should we be confirming a justice that's going to be coming from a person, frankly, that there's a conflict of interest there, that this judge could end up having to preside over cases relevant to this criminal investigation? Can a president pardon himself? Can a president be criminally indicted? Can a president dismiss the person that's investigating them? A lot of these issues might come right before this Supreme Court. And to have a president who has a history of demanding loyalty tests, should that person be able to, right now, while this criminal investigation is going on, be allowed to put such to make an appointment? I say no.
Now, you know, the interesting part of this is they can say no all they want, and they can scream and cry and make up stuff all they want, and President Trump's going to nominate, and we're going to have hearings, and we're going to have a vote, and some Democrats are going to vote for the nominee, because John Tester in Montana cannot vote against a Donald Trump nominee in Montana and not lose. Joe Donnelly cannot vote against a Donald Trump nominee in Indiana and not lose. Claire McCaskill cannot vote against a Donald Trump nominee and not lose. In Ohio, Sherrod Brown might be able to vote against a Donald Trump nominee and maybe still win. Ditto. Bob Casey in Pennsylvania just makes their path a lot harder. Bill Nelson cannot vote against a Donald Trump nominee and win. Again and again, I don't think Joe Manchin can vote against a Donald Trump nominee and win in West Virginia against Pat Morrissey. There are 6, 7, 8. I think John James in Michigan is praying Debbie Stabenow votes against, say, Ketledge. Or Joan Larson in Michigan. They'll be ruined. It'll be over. Done. Put a bow on it. When we come back, Trey Gowdy took after Rod Rosenstein and Christopher Wray. Now, I like both Rod Rosenstein and Christopher Wray. They are in an unenviable position of doing institutional defense for an institution that was simply rotten at the top, not at the bottom, in 2016. So we'll come to that after the break. Don't go anywhere. Meantime, ReliefFactor.com time. There it is. I've got to get a new bag pretty soon. There it is. Yesterday, I got a note from a listener who said, please don't slurp your coffee on the air. And I thought, this is called a sound effect in radio. When I take the 4 Relief Factor pills and slurp my lukewarm coffee, it is to demonstrate the reality that I take it every morning. And I take it every morning because I keep a schedule that is 6 days a week. And a lot of hours in every day, and it goes late into the night. And boy, in the Supreme Court I'm taking next week off, and then I'm here around the clock for the Supreme Court, baby. I need my ReliefFactor.com to relieve the minor aches and pains that come with running up and down stairs with your hair on fire, talking about the Supreme Court and putting out liberal lies. And so ReliefFactor.com is what you need. Pat Boone is out there now on television. He gets the television gig. I get the radio gig. $19.95, ReliefFactor.com. Don't deny yourself the relief that comes with the ReliefFactor.com. Go to the website, get the starter pack for $19.95, and get right back here to the Hugh Hewitt Show.
This is the Hugh Hewitt Show. If credit card debt has you down, nonprofit Trinity Debt Management can help. Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees, and drastically reduce your interest. You'll pay thousands less than you originally owed. It's not a loan. It's a way to become debt-free and possibly improve your credit score. So call Trinity and talk to a certified counselor. They'll explain their proven program to you with no pressure, just practical solutions and hope for tomorrow. Are you ready to pay off your credit cards in less time for less money? Then call for a free no-obligation debt analysis and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free no-obligation debt analysis. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
We all have a love-hate relationship with summer. Sure, the beach days and barbecues are a blast, but sometimes you want to leave all that blistering heat outside. Upgrading your old tattered window coverings with SelectBlinds.com is the easiest and cheapest way to stay cool this summer. Select Blinds offers a huge variety of blinds, shades, and shutters that help keep your home insulated and your electric bill low. SelectBlinds.com takes the guesswork out of ordering blinds online by offering high-quality blinds for an unbelievable price. Plus, Select Blinds has the most online reviews and 5-star ratings on the planet. Don't spend another summer sweating it out. Take advantage of SelectBlinds.com, the simple and smart way to get blinds. To get amazing deals on blinds, shades, and shutters, shop today at SelectBlinds.com. Remember to mention our show at checkout using the drop-down menu. Let SelectBlinds.com upgrade your home and keep you cool today. SelectBlinds.com.
Your cell phone's connected to your tablet's connected to your laptop's connected to your Wi-Fi. 1 weak link and thieves are in.
The digital world is so connected these days, it just takes 1 weak link for criminals to get in. New LifeLock identity theft protection now adds the power of Norton Security to help protect against the threats of today's connected world.
Your desktop's connected to your smart TV. Your smart TV's connected to your smartwatch.
Threats to your identity, like your info for sale on the dark web. And online threats to your devices, like ransomware. No one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but new LifeLock with Norton detects a wide range of threats to your identity and devices. And if there's a problem, our agents will work to fix it.
Your smartwatch is connected to your video doorbell. Your video doorbell's connected to your smart lock.
Join now and get an additional 10% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code SMART. That's promo code SMART. New LifeLock with Norton. More detection, more protection.
Become politically involved with Patriot Mobile, the only conservative cell phone company in the nation that fights for your values while supporting conservative organizations and providing reliable nationwide coverage on unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. For only $6 while supplies last, you can save and get the iPhone 6S or a brand new Samsung J7. Make the switch at 1-800-A-PATRIOT or visit patriotmobile.com. That's 1-800-A-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com.
Welcome back, America. Hugh Hewitt to the ReliefFactor.com studio inside the Beltway. I will return next hour to the Supreme Court short list. I think Raymond Kethledge, judge of Michigan, shooting up overnight to the pole position with Brett Kavanaugh, and that's a good thing. He is Neil Gorsuch 2.0. But first, I just got to play for you. It takes 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Trey Gowdy. He is talking at, not with, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and Christopher Wray. Let's roll that tape. Cut number 10.
The Russia investigation has been going on for almost 2 years now. Special counsel's investigation has been going on for over a year now. For most Americans, it's important to know what Russia did to our country in 2016 and with whom, if anyone, they did it. When a foreign state interferes with our democratic electoral process, it should be a chance of a lifetime for a law enforcement agent to investigate that, except apparently the one that was actually picked to investigate it. That was Peter Strzok. FBI agent Peter Strzok was picked to lead the FBI's investigation into what Russia did in July of 2016. It was a counterintelligence investigation begun in late July 2016, and he was leading it. And at about the exact same time he was picked to lead it, this dispassionate and fair FBI agent was calling Trump a disaster, destabilizing for the country. I'll leave out all the adjectives he used to describe that. I'll just go with disaster and destabilizing. Same time, his FBI lawyer girlfriend, Lisa Page, was telling him he was meant to protect the country. This neutral, dispassionate FBI agent said, I can protect the country at many levels. Same time, Peter Strzok, who was picked to objectively, fairly, neutrally look into the Russia investigation, was talking about an insurance policy with Andy McCabe and Lisa Page in the event Donald Trump became the president. All of this was happening at the same time Peter Strzok said he could smell the Trump support in Southern Virginia. All of this was at the same time that this FBI agent said a Trump presidency would be effing terrifying and that it will never happen. No, we'll stop it. So while investigating Russia and their attempt to subvert our democracy may have been important to the rest of the country, it wasn't all that important to about a half dozen FBI agents and lawyers who were assigned to the case. For them, it was an investigation to stop Donald Trump, which then brings us to May of 2017 and the appointment of special counsel, where we find Peter Strzok again, this same supposed to be dispassionate, neutral, fair FBI agent. You would think he'd be really excited about investigating what a foreign power tried to do to this country. But you would be wrong, again, for Peter Strzok at precisely the same time that Bob Mueller was appointed, precisely the same time. Peter Strzok was talking about his unfinished business and how he needed to fix and finish it so Donald Trump did not become president. He was talking about impeachment within 3 days of special counsel Mueller being appointed. 3 days. That's even quicker than MSNBC and the Democrats were talking about impeaching him. Within 3 days, the lead FBI agent is talking about impeaching the president. So this is where we are. We're 2 years into this investigation. We're a year and a half into the presidency. We're over a year into special counsel. You have a counterintelligence investigation that's become public. You have a criminal investigation that's become political. You have more bias than I have ever seen manifest in a law enforcement officer in the 20 years I used to do it for a living. And 4 other DOJ employees who had manifest animus towards the person they were supposed to be neutrally and detachedly investigating. Democrats are using this investigation as a presumption of guilt, which I find astonishing, and in the long run for the health of this republic, I would encourage them to go back to the presumption of innocence that we used to hold sacred. There's a presumption of guilt. There's a desire by Democrat senators to fundraise off of your investigation. More than 60 Democrats have already voted to proceed with impeachment before Bob Mueller has found a single solitary damn thing. More than 60 have voted to move forward with impeachment, and he hasn't presented his first finding. So I'm going to say this to you, Mr. Ray, Mr. Rosenstein. I realize that neither one of you were there when this happened, but you're both there now. Russia attacked this country. They should be the target, but Russia isn't being hurt by this investigation right now. We are. This country is being hurt by it. We are being divided. We've seen the bias. We've seen the bias. We need to see the evidence. If you have evidence of wrongdoing by any member of the Trump campaign, present it to the damn grand jury. If you have evidence that this president acted inappropriately, present it to the American people. There's an old saying that justice delayed is justice denied. I think right now all of us are being denied. Whatever you got, finish it the hell up. because this country is being torn apart. I would yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Trey Gowdy, good on you. I'll be right back. America Hour number 2. BuzzFeed News reporting that the president will make his choice before he leaves for the NATO summit. Early line this morning, think Raymond Ketledge, Brett Kavanaugh. I'll tell you the others when we come back to hour number 2. We're going to have an originalist majority on the Supreme Court. Hoorah! Stay tuned.
But you absolutely, positively need the truth. This is where you turn. This is the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Are you considering investing in Bitcoin or Ripple but don't know how? Investing in cryptocurrency doesn't need to be a daunting task. CDM Exchange is a pioneer provider of cryptocurrency, diamonds, and physical precious metals, and CDM has created a simple, easy-to-understand process that helps mature investors navigate the confusing space. Learn how to make cryptocurrency, diamonds, and physical precious metals part of your investment strategy online at cdmexchange.com. CDM, it's easier here.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
This is the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Southern Illinois weather.
An excessive heat warning takes effect this afternoon, and a heat advisory takes effect tonight. Isolated storms are possible through the day with partly sunny skies otherwise and highs reaching the mid-90s. With the humidity, will feel more like 112. Southwesterly winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies expected tonight. Low temperatures will dip down to the mid-70s. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, I'm Nikki Latola on Monster Radio AM 1150. Right now, it's 82.
Picture this. You're sitting at your computer reading the day's news. You click on the next interesting headline only to get...
You have reached this month's limit of free stories. Please enter your credit card number to continue.
Well, not with Dateline Marion. Dateline Marion is a community news website that covers Marion and Williamson County, and there is no limit to the number of stories you can read. That's no limit this week, this month, or this year. Check us out at DatelineMarion.com for local news when you want it, as often as you want it. Oh, and by the way, it's free.
W253CR Marion, now at 98.5 FM, and the legendary
WGGH Marion.
Charges undeterred. I'm Mike Moss. The suspect in the Annapolis Gazette shootings was back in court this morning and denied bail. Jared Ramos faces 5 counts of murder for the deaths of the newspaper journalist. Police say Ramos barricaded the back door to the paper. Correspondent Shimon Prokupes reports police have turned to the internet for clues.
We know a lot from his Twitter page, though it's been fairly quiet up until about 2016, where he also was just kind of railing against the newspaper, some of the editors there, some of the staff members of the newspaper. So centrally, the police have a lot of information about his history.
Correspondent Karen Kaifa reports the Gazette published a newspaper today even after such a tragedy.
Journalists at the paper who are used to writing about these tragedies but not being in them describe their terror as the suspect worked his way through the newsroom.
At some point when I was listening to him reload, it's, are we all going to die? Is he not going to leave until everyone in here is dead?
2 wounded in the shootings were released from the hospital today. California now has the nation's toughest internet privacy law for consumers. Providers must tell customers upon request what personal data they've collected, why it was collected, and who it was shared with.
It also allows customers to request their data be deleted, and the information of children under 16 cannot be sold without the permission of a parent or guardian of that child.
Correspondent Jim Roop. The Iowa Supreme Court has blocked a law requiring a 72-hour waiting period before a woman can get an abortion. The ruling sides with a lawsuit from the Planned Parent and Civil Liberties Union organizations. LeBron James has opted out of his contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
The Cleveland Plain Dealer first broke the story that the 4-time league MVP will opt out of his $36 million option year with the Cleveland Cavaliers, making him an unrestricted free agent. NBA rules say LeBron can start negotiating with other teams on Sunday. He could also sign a new deal with the Cavs worth over $200 million.
TJ Coutinho, Wall Street, Dow up 250. I'm Mike Moss.
This advertisement is brought to you by DebtRid. Are you drowning in debt? Are you struggling to make minimum payments? Did you know that on average a household with at least one credit card struggles with over $10,000 in credit card debt? If this sounds like you, know that it's not your fault. Credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates and low minimum payments. Before you know it, you're in over your head. We've helped thousands of good people just like you become debt-free with our Debt Reset program that will dramatically reduce your debt down to a fraction of what you owe. Our Debt Reset program is customized to get you debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months with one low monthly payment. If you owe over $10,000 in credit card debt or even personal loans, call 800-832-1507 now. There are no upfront fees or out-of-pocket expenses. You don't pay a dime until we succeed. Call now to see how the Debt Reset program can work for you. 800-832-1507. That's 800-832-1507. Again, 800-832-1507.
This hour's news is brought to you by Triple E Barbecue in Marion.
Up-to-the-minute local information when you need it. This is a Southern Illinois News Center update.
Severe weather pelted southern Illinois last night, causing damage across the entire region. A line of thunderstorms that stretched across the entire width of the state swept through southern Illinois, knocking down trees, damaging buildings, and causing widespread power outages. Heron was among the hardest hit, with several buildings damaged, including the Save-A-Lot grocery store. Officials in Marion, Carbondale, Mount Vernon, Pinckneyville, and DuQuoin reported trees and power lines were knocked down in the storm, while emergency personnel in White County said a tree fell on a house in Norris City. As of 6 a.m. today, more than 4,000 Ameren, Illinois customers were still without power in Williamson County. Power also remained out for more than 3,100 customers in Saline County and 2,000 in Jefferson County. The storm did cause at least one injury in southern Illinois. A driver in Franklin County was injured while driving in the storm. According to the Illinois State Police, 45-year-old Jackie L. Stacy of Royalton was driving on Illinois Route 149, 1/2 mile east of River Road, when she was forced to stop in the roadway due to heavy rain that was causing severe visibility problems. Police said while she was stopped, a large tree fell on her car, causing damage to the entire front end, windshield, and roof. The vehicle had to be towed from the scene. Stacy suffered non-incapacitating injuries and was taken to the hospital by ambulance. Weather continues to be an issue today. All of southern Illinois has been placed under an excessive heat warning until 8 p.m. Experts say daytime high temperatures today will reach in the mid to upper 90s, with heat index values climbing to more than 110 degrees. Those heat index values are expected to remain between 110 and 115 for at least 4 hours today. People are being urged to stay inside out of the heat, but use extreme caution if they have to be outdoors, including taking several breaks and drinking plenty of water. There is a heat advisory in effect as well through 8 p.m. tomorrow. In the Monster Radio Southern Illinois News Center, I'm Tim Petrovich.
Triple E Barbecue gives you independence from the kitchen.
No cooking tonight.
So go grab a couple of those famous barbecue sandwiches. And while you're there, order some barbecue ribs for 4th of July. Call 618-997-1369. 618-997-1369. Located at 904 East Young Street. Whether you need food for your next party or you need catering, Triple E does it all. And they'll help you declare independence from your kitchen. Happy Independence Day from Triple E Barbecue.
Southern Illinois weather.
An excessive heat warning takes effect this afternoon, and a heat advisory takes effect tonight. Isolated storms are possible through the day with partly sunny skies otherwise and highs reaching the mid-90s. With the humidity, will feel more like 112. Southwesterly winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies expected tonight. Low temperatures will dip down to the mid-70s. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, I'm Nikki Latola on Monster Radio AM 1150. Right now, it's 84.
I'm a volunteer at United Way. I'm asking people around the neighborhood what they think this place needs.
Wi-Fi everywhere.
More playgrounds.
Oh, more ice cream trucks.
I was thinking more money in the pockets of local families come tax time.
Can I change my answer?
I was just kidding about the ice cream.
When it comes to getting better tax refunds into the hands of local families, what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Monster Radio, WGGH, is Southern Illinois.
Morning glory, America, from the ReliefFactor.com studios on this Friday, June 29, inside the Beltway. Thank you for listening to the Hugh Hewitt Show. I am so glad to be here. I am mourning, as is every journalist who's ever worked in a newsroom and everyone who's ever had a friend killed by violence, the death of 5 journalists who worked at the Capital Gazette in Annapolis, Maryland yesterday. Rob Hyacin, 59, former feature writer for the Baltimore Sun, brother of novelist Carl Hyacin. I thought he was his son, brother. He's been there since 2010. Wendy Winters, 65, is a community correspondent. She headed special publications. Gerald Fishman, 61, of the editorial page. He was the editorial page editor. I mean, he's widely respected in the community. John McNamara, 56, a staff writer who had covered high school, college, and professional sports for decades. I mean, he knows every high school in the Annapolis area. He's covered the kids. Probably beloved. Rebecca Smith, 34 years old, a sales associate. 5 dead, 2 wounded. It was one of the first papers, it is one of the first papers to publish. It started in July 1776, and it will not stop. I've already named the gunman once. That's my rule, one time and done. He's a nut. He's a stalker. He had a long-time grudge against the newspaper. Not an ideological killing, just a nut killing, and I remind you of stop orders. Severe threat orders of protection. Doug Ducey is supporting them in Arizona. They ought to be everywhere. Not just for creepy high school kids, not just for kids who set off alarm bells among their teachers, their colleagues, their student body president, their coaches, but also for people like this who post threats and lurk and stalk and got restraining orders. You got to be able to get a severe threat order of protection where, after appropriate due process protections are observed, an individual is detained and examined for mental stability and their access to firearms. It is that this was not a long gun; it's a shotgun, and we're not going to stop shotguns in America. All right, it's just there's no marching here. This is a nut, deranged, revenge-seeking, crazy man who did this, and it's just terrible and awful. Throughout the weekend, tomorrow on the Hugh Hewitt Show on MSNBC, I'll be talking with Dr. Larry Arnn. After a couple of quick stories on the Supreme Court with Seung-Min Kim and the summit with Courtney Cubie, I'm going to talk with Dr. Larry Arnn about the Supreme Court vacancy, as I will next hour with Matthew Spalding about the Supreme Court vacancy. I have been diving deep into the nominees, and I will continue to. Filed my first of many columns with the Washington Post yesterday, just simply laying out the history. This goes back to Bork, and we are here now where the simple rule is what the majority wants, the majority gets. If you've got 50 votes in the vice president or 51 votes without the vice president, you get your nominee, the hearings and the vote. And that's why Democrats and their screaming and crying is sort of absurd. Be a grown-up about this. The Supreme Court isn't going to shift radically. Justice Kennedy sided with the majority in all of the major cases of June. In Janus versus the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, he held for the First Amendment. In Gill, he held with the Chief Justice who wrote against the interference with state legislative line drawing for congressional and state legislature districts. In Masterpiece Cake Shop, he held for Jack Phillips in the right not to participate in a same-sex wedding that he believed to be against his religious beliefs, sincerely so. And he also voted to vacate the decision against Barronelle Stutzman in Arlene's Flowers. But in so doing, 7 justices agreed with him that Obergefell is settled law. Marriage in America is open to 2 people of the same sex, and it's not going to change. People are out there saying Roe v. Wade is destroyed. That's not how it actually works. It works that a state will have to pass a law, and then that law would go up. And even if that state law severely restricted abortion beyond what it already is restricted, and they did rewrite Casey, which I think will happen, that will not change a bit of the availability of abortion in New York and California and other places. And some people will be upset that some states want incredible restrictions, like 20-week restrictions, which makes sense to me since the baby is viable at that point and feeling pain. But that is not up to the court. It's up to the people to decide. It is not in the Constitution a viability standard of 24 weeks. The Casey standard, very few people understand it. Roe isn't even good law anymore. It's just a slogan. It's not a case. Roe was poorly conceived, badly written, a laughingstock among con law professors. So who to replace Justice Kennedy? There are a dozen names. Don Willett is a terrific judge who just went on the Fifth Circuit after great service on the Texas Supreme Court. David Strauss just went on the Eighth Circuit after terrific service on the Minnesota Supreme Court. Joan Larson just went on the Sixth Circuit after terrific service on the Michigan Supreme Court. You look at Amy Barrett, who just went on the Seventh Circuit. There are others. You look at Amul Thapar, who is a district court judge who just went on to the Sixth Circuit, been there for a year. Amul Thapar is a terrific nominee and has Leader McConnell's unyielding support. They're all in the hunt. Brett Kavanaugh is a terrific judge on the D.C. Circuit. If people have been listening to this show for a long time, they know I waged endless advocacy for Brett Kavanaugh during the years of the Leahy obstructionism, 2001 to 2002, and then the Leahy filibustering, 2003 to 2004, until the Gang of 14 broke the logjam. Brett Kavanaugh was in the White House counsel's office. He was part of the Starr Report. He is a very smart guy. He's 51. Raymond Kethledge, though, I think is emerging as Gorsuch 2.0. And I've been diving deep into his stuff. He's on the Sixth Circuit. Now, I'll put up front the biggest drawback. He went to Michigan Law School and Michigan undergrad. He will be very hostile to the Ohio State University. And I do not know the emotional toll that losing 13 out of 14 Ohio State-Michigan games has taken on him. But he's been on the court since 2008. He's published 130 majority opinions, so we know what his jurisprudence is. 50 concurrences and dissent. Routinely named one of the best writers on the federal bench. He writes all of his opinions himself. He clerked for Justice Kennedy. Went to law school at Michigan, number 2 in his class. Clerked for Judge Ralph Guy, great Reagan appointee up there in the Sixth Circuit. He was on the Judiciary Committee as counsel to Spencer Abram when he was senator. He loves the outdoors. Big fisherman like me, right? Fishes out lakes. Big hunter up north on the Yoop. He's an ooper in the summer. Committed originalist and textualist. He believes that his role in constitutional and statutory cases is to apply, quote, the meaning that the citizens bound by the law would have ascribed to it at the time it was approved, close quote. He uses dictionaries, common usage, and content. He does not rely on legislative history. Can we have the applause, please? Legislative history is a complete and utter well of conflicting emotions that ought never to be used. He has described Chevron deference as a judicial abdication of the Article III power. He has taken steps to limit Chevron's harm. He has castigated the IRS for targeting conservative Tea Party groups. He's dedicated to enforcing separation of powers. He's been known for rebuking the EEOC for overreach in a decision called the Opinion of the Year by the Wall Street Journal editorial page. And he's got a lot of trial and appeals court. He's 51 years old. And I have to point out, he's not a D.C. insider. He's not an Ivy Leaguer. We've got 9 Harvard or Yale Supreme Court justices, now 8 with the retirement of Justice Kennedy. We need someone not from Harvard or Yale. That Kavanaugh just a little bit. He's from a swing state, Michigan. I'd love to see Debbie Stabenow vote against a lifelong Michigander. I just think it would be funny if she had to do that, and then because she can't. So I think Kethledge presents, so does Judge Larson, but Judge Larson hasn't had the same kind of bench time. We need some opinions out of her on the federal bench, maybe. I'm fine with any of these people I've mentioned. I don't want to reach too far into obscurity. I don't want to go for someone in their 30s and make age an issue. I don't want someone to say, oh, I've got a 50-year justice here. 51's fine. That's 25 to 30 years of principled originalism, working with Gorsuch and Thomas and Roberts and Alito. Occasionally, Judge Kagan, by the way, Justice Kagan occasionally does this. And there will be more, I believe, in the next 2 or 3 years. I don't know who hangs it up, but I think there will be more. And we need to win Senate seats. We need Pat Morrissey to win in West Virginia. Absolutely. We need Rick Scott to win in Florida. We need Josh Hawley to win in Missouri. We need John James to win in Michigan. We need Jim Renacci to win in Ohio. We need wins in Wisconsin, North Dakota, and Montana. There are 8 or 9 Senate seats. And to go from 51-49 to 56-57, maybe even 58-42 would be a wonderful thing. And the courts would flower. And by the way, that doesn't mean legislating from the bench. My vision of the courts is they just apply the law that the Congress passes. And they apply the Constitution, and they protect, this is crucial, your right to worship as you want. The number one role of the Constitution is protecting liberty of thought and belief. That's the number one thing it's supposed to do by dividing up power, so that you do not become enmeshed in the authoritarian rise, that you keep your right to believe and pray, you keep your right to associate, you keep your right to speak, you keep your rights. That's why we need someone like Kethledge or someone else from this list of originalists. Stay tuned, America. It's the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Portions of the Hugh Hewitt Show are brought to you in part by Patriot Mobile.
Somewhere in the world, news is happening. You'll hear it here first, but only if you're here when Hugh Hewitt continues.
Do you own gold, silver, diamonds, or cryptocurrency but don't know what to do next? Do you have a precious metals IRA and wish it were doing more? CDM Exchange is a pioneer provider of cryptocurrency, diamonds, and physical precious metals. CDM makes it easy to move between precious metals, diamonds, or cryptocurrency investments. Learn how to make cryptocurrency, diamonds, and physical precious metals part of your investment strategy at cdmexchange.com. That's cdmexchange.com. CDM, it's easier here.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the Solaire infrared grills, those amazing gas grills that heat up to over 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes to provide professional chef quality performance in your own backyard. Now, you won't find them in the big box stores. Solaire is sold only by the finest specialty retailers who recognize Solaire as the only real hot, fast grill. If you live in an area without a Solaire dealer, Solaire has the demo program where you can try a mini version of a full-size grill in your own backyard, grilling the foods you love. It's made with the same design, materials, components, and performance of the big Solaires, but in a size Solaire can easily ship to you. Try before you buy so you'll know firsthand why Solaire is the last grill you'll ever purchase. Learn more about the demo program and these fantastic USA-made grills at BestHotGrill.com. That's BestHotGrill.com, BestHotGrill.com.
Protecting data across modern decentralized networks presents challenges that traditional backup solutions can't handle. At best, you'll waste time and money managing multiple solutions. At worst, gaps in coverage will leave your data vulnerable. Barracuda Backup is a single cloud-integrated solution that simplifies the backup process and allows data replication to anywhere on your network, a private cloud, Barracuda's cloud, or to the AWS public cloud. Reclaim your data. Try Barracuda Backup free at barracuda.com/backup.
This is the Hugh Hewitt Show.
The way you get your medicine prescriptions is now changing across America. GoGoMeds.com can deliver your medicine right to your door. Here's all you need to do. Your doctor gives you the prescription. You go online to GoGoMeds.com, put in your information, and make sure to include the promo code MIKE2018 to save $10 off your first prescription. Your meds are then delivered to your home, and you've saved money. It's that easy. No more waiting, no lines, no copay each month, and best of all, no wandering around the store aimlessly waiting for your prescription to be filled. GoGoMeds.com, the new way to get your medicine delivered right to your door. Remember that getting your prescription filled now means never having to go to a store again. GoGoMeds.com. GoGoMeds.com. Use the promo code MIKE2018 to save $10 off your first prescription. That's GoGoMeds.com, promo code MIKE2018.
Are you a timeshare owner that would like to get out of your timeshare the right way? Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Lone Star Transfer. Getting out of your timeshare is probably at the top of your to-do list for 2018. Now is the time to make the call to simplify your life. We have an excellent track record and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So if you want to get rid of those high maintenance fees and annual bills for vacations you never take, call 844-284-4863 or visit us online at LoneStarTransfer.com. That's 844-284-4863. For over a decade, we have been working in timeshare owner advocacy to help those stuck in timeshares. Let us help you with a legal and ethical solution. Call us today for a private, no-obligation consultation. We will give you a solution that will get you out of your timeshare once and for all. Call 844-284-4863 or LoneStarTransfer.com. Satisfaction guaranteed.
This is how Joseph Semprevivo is using the new tax cuts at Joseph's Light Cookies. When this tax bill was signed into law, it gave raises to all of our team members ranging from $3,500 to $4,000 a year. We sent out a message saying a tax cut to us is more money for us to give to you, to reward you for that hard work. That's what tax cuts do.
If you're a business owner, tell us how you're using the tax cuts. Go to taxcutswork.com and share your comments. That's taxcutswork.com.
Welcome back, America. It's Hugh Hewitt in the ReliefFactor.com studio time for the Patriot Mobile Poet of the Moment. Joined now by the Poet Laureate of the Hugh Hewitt Show, who I'm sure is rhyming about the Supreme Court's timing.
That's very good, Hugh. You know, in the 27 years you've been doing this, you've picked up a few rhymes along the way. That's
once in a great while.
No. I'm going to wait till the selection is made, and then we will, in verse and rhyme, investigate his possibilities for confirmation.
Her possibilities.
Yes. Did I say his or her?
You said his.
All right. I will go back and review my pronouns with you. Let's get to the poem, would you?
All right.
I lived in the Big Apple. Late in life, I learned to drive. But I quickly gained the expertise I needed to survive. I eschewed the use of blinkers, changed lanes with verve and zest, and the language I presented I'd call colorful at best. But when I moved to Hollywood, Tarzana isn't far, I knew that I'd be spending half a lifetime in my car. So with the right hand on the Thomas Guide, back then there were no apps, I vowed to keep composure, and I've never had a lapse. Convinced that this was positive, it's always been my aim that political contention should be handled just the same. I'd marshal all my evidence, presenting it in stacks, and never think of stooping to ad hominem attacks. And if my interlocutor then found himself incensed, I'd listen quite politely to his arguments against. If clearly unpersuadable, I'd let him waste his breath, nodding intermittently and yesing him to death. But lately I've decided that this strategy is bad. It's clear in light of recent conversations that I've had. Decline to take a battle, and it's taken as concession. Soon they start demanding that you make a good confession. So let's have that conversation, though it may not be as pretty. I'll be using all the tactics that I learned in New York City. That's I Argue Like I Drive, or a tribute to Ellen Chow by Tarzana Joe.
Tarzana Joe, a brilliant piece of work. It will be posted, I assume, at tarzanajoe.com.
It is right now.
And all your wedding poetry needs and all your bachelor party poetry needs and all your best man poetry needs available at tarzanajoe at Reagan.com for reasonable rates, I might add. Reasonable rates.
Correct. I am the most reasonable poet you've ever met.
Tarzana Joe at Reagan.com. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
I must say, next week he's going to have to find something that rhymes with Ketledge. He is our Patriot Mobile Poet of the Moment. Let me tell you about Patriot Mobile, by the way. Don't just carry your calls with the best cell phone service in America. Carry your message. Patriot Mobile should be your cell phone provider today. They can help you support vital conservative organizations and provide reliable nationwide coverage on unlimited plans starting at just $20 a month. Here's a package for a patriot like you. This month you can save big and get the iPhone 6S or the new Samsung J7, that's brand new Samsung J7, for only $6 a month. These fantastic smartphones are a great value at a fraction of the cost. Get yours today while supplies last. Perfect for any patriot. You make the switch by calling 1-800-A-PATRIOT, or better yet, go to patriotmobile.com/Hugh. patriotmobile.com/Hugh, or call 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Switch. Make the conservative change happen today just by using your cell phone. A portion of every bill you pay, will then go to conservative causes like Americans for Prosperity, the National Rifle Association. 1-800-A-PATRIOT, patriotmobile.com/Hugh. While you're out there joining and changing stuff, join AMAC. Boy, are we going to need AMAC working on behalf of the Supreme Court nominee. AARP will be out there trying to block the Supreme Court justice, whoever the president nominates in the next week or so, whether it's Ketledge or Kavanaugh, whether it's Barrett or Larson or Don Willett or David Strauss or Amul Thapar. AMAC will be working, the Association of Mature American Citizens, AMAC.us. It costs $20 to join AMAC. Don't join AARP. Get out of AARP. Join AMAC. You'll get the same Health plan choices, you'll get great benefits on travel and great benefits on all sorts of discounts, an array of health care supplements for older people. You've got to be 50 years or older to join AMAC. AMAC.us. And they will be working every day this summer to get this nominee confirmed, as I will be. AMAC.us. Go and join today. You've been waiting for a reason to do it. AMAC.us today because of the Supreme Court. Save the Supreme Court. Save originalism. Get a Kennedy replacement who's just Gorsuch 2.0. I think that's Raymond Ketledge. We'll continue to talk about it. Stay tuned, America. It's the Hugh Hewitt Show.
This portion of the Hugh Hewitt Show has been brought to you by MyPillow. Call 800-951-5493 or go to MyPillow.com and be sure to use a promo code HUGH.
You're in the middle of a non-stop action-packed information blitz. The Hugh Hewitt Show is coming right back.
Hi, I'm Paul Mampilli, and I have a confession to make. After spending 2 decades on Wall Street making millionaires millions, winning awards as the who's who of investment advisors, and raking in gain after gain, I'm turning the tables to help Main Street Americans make even bigger profits. I'm talking about you. Yes, you. It starts with a new video I just put on my website, www.cpaulsvideo.com. In this video, I reveal a little-known industry that my research shows could surge 8,000% market growth, and the one stock you should invest in to rake in the profits. Folks who have followed my recommendations in the past are making a lot of money. Pete from Maryland says he's up well over $100,000. Mark from Colorado has made $191,000, and John from New York has pocketed over $1.5 million. Now it's your turn. To get all the details, go to watchpaulsvideo.com. Don't wait. Go to www.watchpaulsvideo.com while there is still time. Again, that's www.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to ditch the car and start rollerblading to work.
I look ridiculous.
You look ridiculous!
You don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your organs on the black market.
Lie back. This is gonna hurt.
Yeah, that hurts. You don't need to rent out your apartment to drifters.
I made a fire with the wood in your bedroom.
That's my dresser!
And your closet door.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This is Monster Radio, now at 98.5 FM, and the legendary
WGGH, Marianne.
Monster Radio, local sports.
The Southern Illinois Miners were rained out of their series finale with the Florence Freedom last night. The severe weather that swept through the region forced the game to be postponed. The game will be made up when the Freedom come back to Marion later this season, but an exact time has not been set. Southern Illinois hosts the Gateway Grizzlies for the start of a 3-game series tonight at Rent One Park. First pitch is at 7:05. Max Kepler walked with the bases loaded in the top of the 13th inning to force in the go-ahead run as the Twins outlasted the White Sox 2-1 in Chicago. Daniel Palka's pinch hit bases loaded walk forced home the game-tying run for Chicago in the bottom of the 9th. Hector Santiago took the loss for the White Sox, who had their 3-game winning streak snapped. The White Sox and Rangers begin a 3-game series in Texas tonight. Chicago is 4th in the American League Central at 28-52, 3 games ahead of the last-place Royals. Dylan Covey toes the rubber for the Sox. Texas counters with Giovanni Gallardo. Tonight's game starts at 7:05. You can listen right here on Monster Radio WGGH with pregame coverage starting at 6:30. The Cardinals were off on Thursday. They get back to work tonight as they host the National League East leading Braves in the first of a 3-game series at Busch Stadium. Miles Mikolas takes the mound for St. Louis while Atlanta starts Julio Teheran. Jason Hayward's go-ahead RBI double ignited a 7-run 7th inning as the Cubs crushed the Dodgers 11-5 at Chavez Ravine. Anthony Rizzo smacked a 3-run double, and Addison Russell capped the big inning with a 2-run homer as Chicago split the 4-game set. Steve Cishek picked up the win. With this sports update, I'm Tim Petrovich.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83? Come on, you're up.
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Hey y'all, it's Luke Combs. Check out my deluxe album, This One's For You Too, available now, featuring new tracks, including the fan favorite, Beautiful Crazy. And be sure to pick up an ice-cold can of Diet Dr. Pepper to find out how you can win a VIP experience with me in Nashville.
How would you like to save money on your utility bills every month? All you need to do is make a simple free phone call and you can start saving up to 25% or more on your energy bills. Energy deregulation is now available where you live, and competition means lower prices to you. By making one simple phone call, we can show you how to lower your electric or gas bills instantly. Call the Energy Hotline today and learn how easy it is to switch your utility bills and save money. Plus, you can also get your gas or electric bills for free by referring some friends. To learn how you can save money on your gas or electric bills, or even get them for free, please call right now for a completely free energy savings consultation. 800-428-9741. 800-428-9741. 800-428-9741. That's 800-428-9741.
Southern Illinois weather.
An excessive heat warning takes effect this afternoon, and a heat advisory takes effect tonight. Isolated storms are possible through the day with partly sunny skies otherwise and highs reaching the mid-90s. With the humidity, will feel more like 112. Southwesterly winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies expected tonight. Low temperatures will dip down to the mid-70s. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, I'm Nikki Latola on Monster Radio AM 1150. Right now, it's 84.
Dave Ramsey, weekday afternoons, 1 till 4, on Monster Radio at AM 1150 and WGGH.net.
We will, and thank you for acknowledging those deaths. I know so many of us in newsrooms across the country are thinking of that today. With Sunday's show and the Supreme Court battle, we're going to have Senator Blumenthal on the show to talk to us. He sits on Judiciary to sort of game this out. It seems like the White House is already trying to court some of those centrist Democrats. I wouldn't necessarily put Blumenthal in that bucket, but he will certainly have some opinions to talk about what some of his fellow Democrats are thinking here on this nominee we've yet to hear in terms of selection. The assumption is we'll hear sooner than later what President Trump wants to do to replace Justice Kennedy. And my colleague Jan Crawford, who's been covering the court for forever and is just great at providing insight on that, will be joining us on Sunday as well.
Now, Margaret Brennan, my early line is Brett Kavanaugh or Raymond Kethledge. They've both been on 10 years. They are both Gorsuch 2.0s. Kethledge more because Kethledge is outside the Beltway and he's a Michigan law grad. So I'm a Michigan law grad, so you can correct for the lie of the green. But it would be great to have a law school represented, not Harvard or Yale. And at 51, you've had 10 years on the bench. You've got a lot of opinions. You're reliable. Some of the newer judges like Tharpar and Amy Barrett and Judge Larson and my friend Don Willett, who's a friend, and David Strauss, who's a friend, they've only been on the court for less than a year. You're not as reliable as someone like Kethledge. I'm just curious, though. Yesterday, I heard so much uncorrected commentary, and I'm putting down a marker here. If someone says Mitch McConnell changed the rule, the guy who changed the rules was Harry Reid in 2013, Margaret. We remember that. He's the guy that basically made it majority rules. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's also a New York Times op-ed today sort of describing, beyond changing the voting idea, sort of the atmosphere that Mitch McConnell has laid out here in terms of the high priority. And this is one of his highest priority, getting people confirmed to courts lower, and of course the Supreme Court ultimately, who are more like-minded and more conservative. So I think that's part of that argument as well, that this is clearly such a high priority legacy-wise for Mitch McConnell that he's taking some heat, he's taking some blame, and maybe he's taking a lot of praise here. I mean, certainly it seems like the argument this is an argument that Republicans want to have going into November if they can get someone who appears to be supportive of what the president said during the campaign, which was ultimately that this would be an argument on some of the culture war issues, specifically abortion.
The president is delivering on his promise. I actually interviewed him about this during the campaign. How can we trust you? He said, well, don't confirm my nominees if I come off of the list. He added Brett Kavanaugh to the list afterwards, but he's sticking to the list plus Kavanaugh. And I'm glad he's doing that, and I think Mitch McConnell is winning glory points from the center right, and especially from originalists. Let me ask about your panel, because these are interesting time for never Trumpers. They are now dealing. Right. They used to post the Neil Gorsuch sign above a GIF of rising floodwaters and mock those of us who voted because of the court, as always saying, but Gorsuch when they did. But now they're just shut up because it's two Supreme. If Secretary Clinton appointed 2 Supreme Court justices, the court would have been lost to originalism for a generation or more. Margaret Brennan, who's on your panel?
No, you're right. Right now we have a panel stacked with, number one, Jan Crawford, our Supreme Court reporter, who's fabulous. We've got Sunman Kim from Washington Post, who is great at sort of watching the White House through the eyes of Congress to talk about how rough this battle is going to be. We've got some names watching us on the trade front as well. We've also got Ramesh Ponnuru talking to us about some of what you just laid out there in terms of is the Republican establishment, who we are hearing day in, day out, is getting torn apart by Trumpism, actually going to be celebrating what happens with this election that the president
Great choice. Ramesh is a never-Trumper, and he's in this difficult position of having to recognize that although the president drives him crazy on judges he's delivered, and of course Young Min is my guest tomorrow morning on MSNBC. She is absolutely the best young talent on White House congressional reporting. How will you memorialize the Annapolis journalists?
We certainly will. We will acknowledge them on the show, as we often do with the latest tragic mass shootings. We try to acknowledge the victims and remember them. We'll talk about what appears to be still a developing story in terms of motive of the shooter. From the reporting so far, it seems that he was very frustrated with articles that had been published about these harassment claims against him.
A revenge shooter, a revenge killer. Last appeal, when Senator Blumenthal starts talking, just remind him it's Harry Reid, 2013. He blew up the filibuster. He owns the majority. Mark Brennan, thank you for joining us. Follow her, Margaret Brennan, on Twitter, @MarkBrennan, and follow her on Face the Nation on Sunday. Follow me, America, over to Sierra Pacific Mortgage. AndrewandTodd.com is the website, AndrewandTodd.com. For all your mortgage needs, especially if you're refinancing in this market, you're trying to consolidate your debt into one low-cost loan. Interest rates have just simply never been this low. And they started to rise about a month and a half ago, and then they stopped and they went backwards. So you're back where they're the lowest they've ever been. Not much a month ago. It doesn't work. You shouldn't go back if you refinanced a month ago and try and get a 1/10 of a point off. It's not worth the headache. But if you haven't refinanced in a year, you definitely should call. And if you haven't refinanced in 5 years, you definitely should call. AndrewandTodd.com, 888-888-1172. Andrew and Todd are lenders. They are not brokers. It's not a call center. They just don't run you ragged through a processing and make money off leads. No, they lend you the money. And therefore, with the 10-year at 2.85 this morning, you just can't wait around. Oil, by the way, is up at 73.35, indicating, that's a little bit high for the economy to click along where it is. Yesterday, the Dow went up 98 points, the NASDAQ 58, the S&P up 16. This morning, S&P futures are all green. S&P is up 9.25. The NASDAQ is up 25, and the Dow is up 95. Amazon, which announced it's buying the pill packaging company, is a good, usually my good marker for what's going on inside of the tech sector. They had a bad couple of weeks thus far. Trying to bring up my Amazon quote, because they always tell me which way the tech sector is kind of going. My goodness, up $13 today after being up $41 yesterday, so it should be a good day for tech sector as well. But when the market gets hot, interest rates rise. Don't wait another day. Go over to andrewandtodd.com. I got to go back and play again. What I was talking to Margaret Brennan about is what Rachel Maddow pulled with Nicole Wallace yesterday, cut number 8.
I think that Democrats right now are facing a test because Democrats have a limiter on their behavior. They're like, you're driving a stock car and it tells you that it can go 220 miles an hour or something, but then when you're actually driving it in real life, you find that it gets to a limiter. Democrats have a limiter that Republicans don't have in modern politics right now, and you might disagree with me on this, but I think that Democrats are really constrained by this idea that you should honor precedent and that you should play fair and that you shouldn't make radical departures from the way things have been done in this country for generations, if not centuries.
Just stop. The way things have been done in this country for generations, if not centuries. Until 2013, it took 60 votes to confirm a judge. Or to stop a filibuster. Sometimes a judge wasn't filibustered. And because it's tradition in this country that you don't filibuster Supreme Court nominees. So 2 traditions. 1, you can filibuster. It takes 60 votes to beat it. Number 2, you don't filibuster Supreme Court nominees. In 2013, Harry Reid destroyed the filibuster and packed the D.C. Circuit. And in 2017, Chuck Schumer led a filibuster of Neil Gorsuch. So this is just nonsense. It's a talking point that we need to take the restrictor plates off our stock cars. It is absolute nonsense. Don't fall for it. Whenever you hear someone say it, say that's nonsense. Neil Gorsuch was a bipartisan confirmation, and this is going to be a bipartisan confirmation. Because Bill Nelson dare not vote against a qualified nominee. Just use Ketledge. I don't know if it's Ketledge or Kavanaugh or Strauss or Thapar. Whoever it is that comes up, Joan Larson, whoever it is. Bill Nelson in Florida cannot vote against them and expect to win in the fall. Bob Casey Jr. is going to have trouble. In Pennsylvania, Trump state, voting against a nominee to replace Anthony Kennedy. We're going to look at Sherrod Brown. He's almost certainly going to vote against the nominee, and I think that Jim Renacci should start talking about that every single day. But I know Josh Hawley's going to hold Claire McCaskill's feet to the fire, and I expect that in North Dakota, in Montana, and in Wisconsin, where you've got 3 Democrat senators, each one of them is going to end up voting for the Republican nominee. And I forgot, Joe Manchin in West Virginia. He's going to vote for the nominee that Donald Trump sends up because he likes his job. He wants to stay in the United States Senate. And this is not a left-wing nutter vote. You send up someone like Raymond Ketledge, been on the court for 10 years, 130 opinions. Go read them all. Lived in Michigan for the 30 of the last 33 years. He's a Heartland guy. Been on the 6th Circuit for 10 years. Very experienced trial lawyer, appellate lawyer. Served for 3 years in D.C. as a clerk for Justice Kennedy. Number 2 in his class at Michigan, law review, all the 9 yards, order of the coif. I want to find out if we have the same professors. I want to find out if he's like Marcus Plant and Doug Kahn and Roger Bam Bam Cunningham, we used to call him. Peter Weston, space cadet. Bev Pooley, frequently sober and always amusing. I just want to know who he had for a law, but he did great there. He's a committed originalist and textualist. He's very Spartan in his writing. It's elegant. He's very reserved and friendly. I am told by people who know him. He will be Gorsuch 2.0. He'll be confirmed so easily. He will not be flappable. Brett Kavanaugh is the same way. More static for Kavanaugh because of the D.C. Circuit. You got a lot more opinions dealing with the federal government. But Kavanaugh or Ketledge, I'm doing somersaults. Larson, Barrett, good political moves. Strauss, Willett playing for the long game. Thapar playing for the long game. Those are my top 7. But I think Ketledge and Kavanaugh are the leaders in the clubhouse after 2 rounds. We have another round this weekend, and then we'll have another round next weekend. I hope the president moves quickly. I'd bring him in this weekend. I would not give the Senate any time to sleep. They've been through this drill once. The first time around, they get the files going. I just think that you on the idea that you need to go out there and get someone moving quickly matters a great deal to me. Absolutely, 100% a great deal to me. 1-800-520-1234. I'm coming back with Sonny Bunch. Got to find out whether or not Sicario 2 is worth going to see. Got to find that out. I went and saw the Mr. Rogers movie. I loved it. But again, I like Fred Rogers as a human being. Presbyterian pastor, wonderful heart. He really was who he is, and that comes through in this movie. Won't You Be My Neighbor? I went and saw. I just love that movie. I doubt that Sonny Bunch has seen Won't You Be My Neighbor. We'll find out. ReliefFactor.com. Take it every day like I did in the first hour. Icarian and Curcumin, Omega, fish oil, and resveratrol. You associate that with red wine. These 4 ingredients, if properly formulated and carefully calibrated, provide all the support nature provides for the temporary relief of the minor aches and pains that simply accompany aging. That's why you see Pat Boone talking about it on TV. It's why Medved and Prager and I and the Fetching Mrs. Hewitt, everyone who likes their exercise and getting older loves to take this because your muscles aren't as limber. And if you hurt yourself and you're younger, you weekend warriors, Relief Factor is for you. And if you're sitting in a car right now stuck in a commute, and I talk to a lot of you every single morning, especially in the Bay Area, on my Monster Signal up there, and in Washington, D.C., inside of the Beltway where it's a nightmare to drive around the Beltway, ReliefFactor.com. You should have taken it this morning. You should take it every morning. $19.95 to get started. Stay where you are. Sonny Bunch is coming right back on the Hugh Hewitt Show.
This is the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Hey, Mike, how's the house coming along?
Needs a ton of work. The pipes are leaking. Needs a new roof. The AC just broke. I just don't have time to do it all myself. You know anyone?
Oh, just ask Home Advisor. They match you with the best local pros for any home project.
Cool.
Yeah, you can read reviews and book appointments online.
What's it cost?
Actually, Home Advisor is always free to use.
Nice. I'll check it out.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor. Hi, it's Hugh Hewitt for ReaganPrivacy.com. Imagine a politician saying this today. I have wondered at times what the 10 Commandments would have looked like if Moses had run them through the U.S. Congress. That's a quote from Ronald Reagan. He showed us, through his life, his faith, and with his words, that Judeo-Christian values and principles matter. You can help spread the legacy of Ronald Reagan. You can do it by getting a Reagan email address. Right now, if you have a Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, or other big tech company email address, you help them market their service with every email you send. In return, they scan your emails and target you with unwanted advertising. Thanks to our sponsor, ReaganPrivacy.com, you can instead share the Reagan name with every email you send. And they won't scan your emails. They will leave you alone. Get an email address that you'll be proud to own at ReaganPrivacy.com. Your very own personal private email address is available to you at ReaganPrivacy.com. Go get your Reagan email address right now at ReaganPrivacy.com. That's ReaganPrivacy.com.
Your credit card companies love you. They love it when your cards stay maxed out. They love it when you only make minimum payments. They love it when you struggle. Why? Because they own you. And minimum payments mean maximum profits. Here's great news. National Debt Relief is now offering you free information on how to escape your credit card debt nightmare. If you owe more than $10,000 in credit card debt and are only barely making minimum payments, know this: you may not have to pay it all back. In fact, you may have the right to settle that debt for only a fraction of what you owe. National Debt Relief has helped thousands of people get rid of over $500 million of debt, and they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get the information you need for free right now before this offer goes away. Call National Debt Relief now and escape your credit card debt troubles. 800-679-1288. 800-679-1288. 800-679-1288.
If you were fumbling around in the dark and someone handed you a flashlight, you'd take it, right? Shouldn't it be the same when it comes to spotting threats to your identity and data on your devices? The digital world is full of so many connections, it just takes one weak link for criminals to get in. And you don't want to be left in the dark if that happens. Fortunately, new LifeLock identity theft protection now adds the power of Norton Security to shed light on more of today's threats. Threats to your identity, like your personal info for sale on the dark web, and threats to your computer or tablet, like ransomware or emerging viruses. No one can stop every cyber threat, prevent all identity theft, or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but new LifeLock with Norton detects a wide range of threats to your identity and devices you may not see on your own. Join now and get an additional 10% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code SMART. That's promo code SMART. New LifeLock with Norton. More detection, more protection.
Welcome back, America, to the ReliefFactor.com studios inside a sweltering beltway where many will run to the movies for a little bit of relief this week. They will do so with the wisdom and the guidance of Sonny Bunch. Sonny Bunch from the Washington Free Beacon joins us now. Follow him on Twitter, Sonny Bunch now. What's up, Sonny Bunch?
Hey, Hugh. So I heard that you went to see the Mr. Rogers movie.
I did.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was a little bit long, and I would have emphasized his very deep-felt Christianity more overtly, and the movie makers clearly were not interested in doing that because he was, before anything else, a very devout evangelical. But I still enjoyed it, and I thought you got a sense of who he is for a generation that doesn't know.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I'm a little bit worried about the tear factor.
There isn't a tear factor. Nope, none of that. And there were a lot of people there for a midday show that just sat there and they're absorbed. It's been in the background of people's lives, right? It's not in the foreground of their lives because they haven't watched it since they were 4. It's for 4-year-olds, the show. But I would go see it. Have you gone to see Sicario?
Sicario, Day of the Soldado. So I am a huge fan of the original Sicario. Okay, I think it's one of the 10 best movies of the last 10 years, or one of the 10 best movies of this decade. However you want to look at it, I think it's great. And the thing that jumps out at you the most about it, looking back, is there's this weird confluence of talent around it. The director Denis Villeneuve would go on to direct Arrival and Blade Runner 2049. The cinematographer Roger Deakins, who got those kind of stark backgrounds and the like really the really dark darks and the really like light desert scenes, just nailed it all. He would win an Oscar last year, finally, and it was also the first produced screenplay from Taylor Sheridan, who would go on to write Hell or High Water and Wind River, which are two movies I like quite a bit.
Yeah, I like Wind River a lot.
So Sicario, it had this great confluence of talent, and it's the sort of movie that doesn't scream out for a sequel. You know, it's a movie that kind of tells a story and it sets a scene, and it's not exactly a Jurassic World type movie, right? We're not looking for the Sicario expanded universe here, but we have a sequel, and everything about the sequel screams straight to DVD to me. From the artwork to the title, Day of the Soldado, to, again, the fact that it's kind of an unnecessary sequel. This is not a movie that needed to be made, with the exception of the fact that Taylor Sheridan is back to write the screenplay, and it stars Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin, who, of course, were in the original film. In Day of the Soldado, the kind of the American undercover guys are trying to figure out how to stop the cartels, the Mexican cartels, from smuggling Muslim terrorists into the country. That's kind of the plot here. You know, the original film was concerned with drug smuggling. This is concerned with human trafficking. It is very much a kind of ripped from the headlines type story. It is very, very of our moment. And I'm not 100% sure it works. It just doesn't capture that lightning in the bottle that the first did. I saw it last night at a 10 p.m. screening with a half full audience or so, and everyone felt kind of underwhelmed.
Jonathan Last, our friend, asks online, "Is it bleak?" Now that's very funny. Is it bleak?
Is it bleak? It is bleak, but
it's so bleak in the trailer. It's the bleakest bleak I've seen.
Sure, it is. You know, it is bleak, but it is ironically not bleak enough. I mean, the first movie is very much set in this world where you expect anything to happen at any moment. You know, that when they're driving through the streets of Juarez and you see the bodies hung up all around and there's violence ready to pop off at any second, you get the sense that everyone is truly in danger in that film, in a way that they aren't in this one. And when you remove that bleakness, and when you make it a less nihilistic film, this is a less nihilistic film. Benicio del Toro's character is revealed to have depth to which we could not have suspected in the first film. Josh Brolin's character is kind of the government agent with a heart of gold in this movie, and the whole thing strikes me. I mean, the last 15 minutes in particular, I don't want to spoil anything, but the last 15 minutes in particular strike me as a real kind of cop out, a real.
Yeah, don't go any further. Don't go any further.
Yeah.
You've said I'm going to go. You know, have you ever read the novels by Don Winslow, The Cartel and the Force? The Cartel is the bleakest damn novel I've ever read about the Mexican drug trade, and it makes you think we'll never beat them. That's what I want Sicario and this to do, is to convey what a menace. Is the menace there?
The menace is definitely there, but again, I do think that I think the original film kind of gets at the kind of implacability of the drug war a little better. Now, look, again, I like what they do here with the human trafficking element. This is really what the cartels are doing right now, and it is. But again, if anything, they kind of soft sell the horror of human trafficking. It's just like, okay, we're going to throw people on a bus and they're going to come with us, and we're just making some money here. It doesn't really get into the murder, the rape, all that stuff that really goes on.
Sonny Bunch, I'm going to see it, and if there's a failure to warn, I'll tell you about it next week. But you go see Mr. Rogers, because that'll at least tell you there are some good people in the world. Don't go anywhere, America. Matt Spalding of the Kirby Center joins me next from Hillsdale EDU as we approach the Hillsdale Dialogue. Stay with us.
Portions of the Hugh Hewitt Show are brought to you by Alliance Defending Freedom.
When you absolutely, positively need the truth, this is where you turn. This is the Hugh Hewitt Show.
America. We're a nation built by hard work. And when we get knocked down, we get back up. Now we're making a comeback. Starting to grow faster than we have in years. Wages are going up. We have more job openings than people looking to fill them. American trade, free trade, is essential to that prosperity, powering our economy, creating jobs. But we could be risking it all, because tariffs will raise prices in America, hurting American workers and small business owners, hurting farmers who get penalized selling food overseas, hurting families raising children. If we want to keep growing, we must keep trading, not tax ourselves with tariffs and make our businesses less competitive. Protect American trade. Support freedom. Oppose tariffs. Paid for by Freedom Partners Chamber of Commerce.
This is the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Southern Illinois weather.
An excessive heat warning takes effect this afternoon, and a heat advisory takes effect tonight. Isolated storms are possible through the day with partly sunny skies otherwise, and highs reaching the mid-90s. With the humidity, will feel more like 112. Southwesterly winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies expected tonight. Low temperatures will dip down to the mid-70s. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, I'm Nikki Latola on Monster Radio AM 1150. Right now, it's 84.
Welcome. Monster Radio is online at WGGH.net with live streaming. Also available on most mobile devices. Check for contests, videos of local events, archived programs, and local sports. You can also pass along your nonprofit community event information too, and we'll post it and get it on the air for free. And a link to join us on Facebook.
WGGH.net.
Get connected with the local station.
You are connected.
Monster Radio AM 1150. W253CR Marion, now at 98.5 FM, and the legendary
WGGH Marion.
No bail, setting a trap. I'm Mike Moss. A busy day after the horrific murders of 5 journalists inside a newsroom of the Annapolis Gazette newspaper. In his first public comment since the shooting, President Trump says our hearts are filled with grief.
My government will not rest until we have done everything in our power to reduce violent crime and to protect innocent life.
Correspondent Brian Todd reports the suspect was back in court this morning.
The judge, Thomas Pryl, has ordered Jared Ramos to be held without bail pending trial. They have ruled that he is a danger to the community, a danger to others, and that he would pose a significant risk.
Police Chief Timothy Altamore says technology was used to ID the suspect.
I can confirm for you at this time that we identified the suspect with help through other investigative techniques by using facial recognition technology from the Maryland Image Repository System.
Lieutenant Ryan Frazier had some good news about 2 of those hurt in the shooting.
We want to identify the 2 people that were injured and have been treated and released. That's Rachel Pacella
and Janet Cooley, and both are employees with the Capital Gazette as well.
Police say that Ramos barricaded the back door to the paper to make it difficult for anyone to escape. Immigrants who have fought for years to change the U.S. immigration system are getting newfound support from activists, moms, and first-time protesters. This weekend, more than 600 rallies are planned to oppose the separating of children from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border. Canada is announcing billions of dollars in retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. in response to the Trump administration's duties on Canadian steel and aluminum. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government today released the final list of items that Canada will target beginning July 1st. Items including ketchup, lawnmowers, and playing cards. On Wall Street, the Dow up 230, S&P up 19 points. I'm Mike Moss.
It's Jeff from Cat Spot Litter. If you own a cat, you know how much of a hassle it is buying that heavy, dusty clay litter at the store every couple weeks. Are you ready to save time and money? Well, listen up. I've invented a new cat litter that is lightweight, dust-free, and made from 100% real coconut. It's called Cat Spot Litter. There ain't nothing better at zapping cat urine smells either. The best part? For only $15, we ship a 30-day supply right to your front door. Shoot, we even offer a money-back guarantee. Jump on the coconut bandwagon and get rid of that toxic clumping clay litter. Start thinking healthy for you, your cat, and our planet. Go to catspotlitter.com and give it a try. Use promo code SAVE for 15% off your first order. Hey, I appreciate you listening.
This hour's news is being brought to you by Raleigh Ready Mix in Raleigh.
Up-to-the-minute local information when you need it. This is a Southern Illinois News Center update.
Severe weather pelted southern Illinois last night, causing damage across the entire region. A line of thunderstorms that stretched across the entire width of the state swept through southern Illinois, knocking down trees, damaging buildings, and causing widespread power outages. Herrin was among the hardest hit, with several buildings damaged, including the Save-A-Lot grocery store. Officials in Marion, Carbondale, Mount Vernon, Pinckneyville, and DuQuoin reported trees and power lines were knocked down in the storm, while emergency personnel in White County said a tree fell on a house in Norris City. As of 6 a.m. today, more than 4,000 Ameren, Illinois customers were still without power in Williamson County. Power also remained out for more than 3,100 customers in Saline County and 2,000 in Jefferson County. The storm did cause at least one injury in southern Illinois. A driver in Franklin County was injured while driving in the storm. According to the Illinois State Police, 45-year-old Jackie L. Stacy of Royalton was driving on Illinois Route 149, 1/2 mile east of River Road, when she was forced to stop in the roadway due to heavy rain that was causing severe visibility problems. Police said while she was stopped, a large tree fell on her car, causing damage to the entire front end, windshield, and roof. The vehicle had to be towed from the scene. Stacy suffered non-incapacitating injuries and was taken to the hospital by ambulance. Weather continues to be an issue today. All of southern Illinois has been placed under an excessive heat warning until 8 p.m. Forecasters say daytime high temperatures today will reach in the mid to upper 90s, with heat index values climbing to more than 110 degrees. Those heat index values are expected to remain between 110 and 115 for at least 4 hours today. People are being urged to stay inside out of the heat, but use extreme caution if they have to be outdoors, including taking several breaks and drinking plenty of water. There is a heat advisory in effect as well through 8 p.m. tomorrow. In the Monster Radio Southern Illinois News Center, I'm Tim Petrovich. Severe weather with destructive winds and tornadoes can strike our area at any time. Gary Brown, the owner of Raleigh Ready Mix, wants to keep your family safe from harm. Raleigh Ready Mix builds storm shelters. Gary would be honored to build you one. Gary also makes yard ornaments and has Ready Mix concrete. Raleigh Ready Mix is located at 5525 Highway 34 in Raleigh. For more information, call 618-268-6377 or 618-982-2377.
Southern Illinois weather.
An excessive heat warning takes effect this afternoon, and a heat advisory takes effect tonight. Isolated storms are possible through the day with partly sunny skies otherwise, and highs reaching the mid-90s. With the humidity, will feel more like 112. Southwesterly winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies expected tonight. Low temperatures will dip down to the mid-70s. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, I'm Nikki Latola on Monster Radio AM 1150. Right now, it's 86.
Reason number 12 why you should own a Thermospa's hot tub? They require no attachment to your home's plumbing.
Thanks to the ThermoSpa's unique built-in thermofiltration system that filters the water an incredible 144 times a day, you simply fill it with a garden hose and your water stays crystal clear with very little maintenance. Call to receive a free DVD and brochure and find out how you can own a ThermoSpa's hot tub for only a few dollars a day. Right now, they're offering 0% APR financing with approved credit and a $1,000 savings coupon, including free delivery, free chemicals, and a cash discount. And with models starting at $4,995, there will never be a better time to own a ThermoSpa's hot tub. So call now and ask about this limited time offer. Call ThermoSpa's today at 800-986-9794 for your free DVD and brochure. That's 800-986-9794. ThermoSpa's, hot tubs designed to improve your life. Call 800-986-9794 today to take advantage of 0% APR financing.
Dave Ramsey, weekday afternoons, 1 till 4, on Monster Radio at AM 1150 and WGGH.net.
This is RFD Today, a daily look at the key topics impacting rural Illinois. If you live in Illinois, we examine the issues impacting you, your income, and your community. Here's your host for today's program, DeLaw Schonke.
Hey, good Friday to you, Illinois. Thanks for joining us for this adventure in broadcasting. It is the 29th, so Sunday will be the 1st of July. Wednesday will be Independence Day. And you can certainly tell, at least for part of the windshield tour I've been on recently, especially close to my palatial estate, a lot of tasseled corn already, and so hopefully we will have conducive weather for these next couple of weeks, as a lot of the corn has moved so quickly, so many growing degree days with the heat that we had in May and June. On the windshield tour yesterday, there were quite a bit of fields two-toned or more, a lot of yellow in soybean fields, especially from, say, LaSalle County and down into McLean County, where they, and in some spots, some obvious instances of too much rain with still some drowned areas in fields, but even more prevalent was the multiple colors that you see from water standing for a long period of time in those soybean fields as well. On today's program, most of the show will be talking to Adam Nielsen, National Policy Development here at Illinois Farm Bureau. We will talk about the Farm Bill passing another hurdle, getting over another hurdle, passing the Senate yesterday 86-11. Both Illinois senators voted in favor of the legislation. And what now? We'll get into the what now in a little bit. And it is a Friday. We'll have Sabrina Berkowitz in, our senior social media specialist. She'll also talk a little bit of Farm Bill as well, as it was occupying a lot of social media in the ag circles over this past week. But we'll talk a lot of policy and where do we go from here with Adam Nielsen just a little bit on RFD Today on a Friday. Thanks for being with us.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Farm, family, food. Those three words best describe Illinois Farm Bureau. Farm. For 100 years, Farm Bureau in Illinois has represented and served the men and women who make Illinois one of the top food-producing states. Family. At the heart of rural Illinois are traditional farm families who work together through Illinois Farm Bureau. And food. Farm Bureau families are proud to grow the healthy food they provide their families and yours. Farm, family, food. the heart of Farm Bureau in Illinois.
RFD Radio Network's Jim Taylor connects rural routes for you. You can trust Jim every morning for your overnight markets. He gets up early to help keep farmers on top of their game. Here's a bit about his rural routes.
I have the opportunity to cover something different every day and provide listeners with up-to-date markets, news they need to do their job and be successful, from legislative issues to crop updates and weather, of course.
Be it routes or routes, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
All right, welcome back to RFD Today on a Friday. I'm DeLoss Yankee. Kudos, by the way, to Jim Taylor for pitching in for the last couple of days as well, especially on such short notice. And, boy, what a busy week it has been, an eventful week. And as they used to say quite a bit, as Hannibal used to say, in fact, on the A-Team, I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Exactly.
Adam Nielsen, Sierra Illinois Farm Bureau. You were in D.C. last week. How in the world? You couldn't have scheduled it much better, I can't imagine.
That was by happenstance, but you know what? Sometimes that works out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we were very fortunate to be there at the right time to be able to deliver the right message to the right person, and it worked.
Well, it was especially timely knowing, because we talked on Friday after it had, I'm trying to think of all the events that took place, but it was just last Friday, it passed the Senate Ag Committee, 20-1, if I'm remembering
It was,
this right.
last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. And when we were talking, you had said there was going to be an amendment coming from Senator Durbin,
Right.
and be ready in case we need to rally the troops.
Yeah, and it became clear that was something that he was going to push. So we pulled together a social media campaign, which is a little bit different for us. And we got, I think, at least 250 messages on his wall, his Facebook wall and Twitter account. And when we walked in there with President Giebert and the Illinois Farm Bureau Board of Directors, they were well aware of why we were there. Of course, we would tell them that anyway. But it was his reaction was, it was very clear that they knew that we were trying to communicate with him. And we spent most of the meeting that late afternoon talking about crop insurance and how increasing premiums for people at the upper end of the income spectrum would have effects on everybody in the program.
Mm-hmm. And, well, we're in a building that has, we're in the same building with folks at Country Financial.
That is correct.
We could probably pull a few people out here that say if you weaken the pool, if you take people out of the pool or diminish the pool at all, the rest of those left in the pool still, or would probably suffer even more.
Yeah. That's right. It's just like a health care reform debate. When you take all the healthy people out of the program, everybody's health insurance premiums go up.
Mm-hmm.
And same way, the pool is very important. Keeping the program actuarially sound is very important, and the only way to do that is to raise premiums on whoever's left.
Yeah, whoever's left. So the amendment was going, I guess we could just explain, because there was a certain dollar amount, or there were certain details in there that were...
Yeah, $700,000 this year is the magic number in the Senate. They ratchet down the payment, the AGI limits for farm program payments to $700,000 from $900,000 in this bill. So Senator Durbin based his crop insurance amendment. It was a proposal to reduce risk premium support by 15 percentage points for anyone who had AGI of $700,000 or more.
Wow. Wow, that's a significant change. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I can see then why there was such an interest taken, and the message came along pretty clear, and the fact that both senators voted for the Farm Bill in the end yesterday was a good sign.
Yeah, it was good that Senator Duckworth came off of maternity leave, essentially, to go vote on the Farm Bill.
Bless
she
her
hadn't
heart.
been in the Senate for a while. I know that she had voted on a confirmation or two, but she's now back to work, and first order of business for her was to vote yes on the Farm Bill.
Cool. Not very often that the senator is on maternity leave.
Not very often, no. In fact, that was, I think, Senate history, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because I know we said last week you were going to talk to Senator Duckworth's staff, so whether or not she was even going to be around. So 86 to 11, that's phenomenal. It probably says a whole bunch of things when you consider what the House had to go through.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we talked last week. It was after it finally passed the House, and now it has made its way through the Senate, and it certainly has taken two different paths on its way to where it is now.
It has. Yesterday there was another vote that didn't get a lot of attention, but the Senate voted to table an amendment that would have included the House SNAP provisions, and the vote was 68 to table. So I think that was a signal that was sent by the Senate to the House saying that provision would be very, very hard to get enough votes for in the Senate if it ended up in a conference report.
That's what Senator Roberts had talked about all the time. He said, I need 60 to get it out of the Senate, and if we have all these work requirements in here, it's not going to get out. So that he was pretty accurate on that thing.
Yes.
Huh. So now, but here's the thing that gets me, too. I still remember last year in D.C., and we had Speaker Conaway was there, and we had several people saying, look, he can walk and chew gum at the same time. He was trying to downplay it. He said, we'll get the Farm Bill done on time.
Yeah.
And people were saying, well, Iraq, and he's chairman of another committee, and how could you possibly do all this? And what do you know, this might actually take place before the end of September.
Yeah, I'm very confident that it will. I was one of those people who was a little bit in the skeptical side of things. Primarily from the Senate standpoint, I thought that maybe Leader McConnell was going to give the Democrats who are running for re-election in states won by President Trump an opportunity to vote for a farm bill. But something more exciting came down the pike, and that's a Supreme Court justice, and you can't beat that for excitement. So I think the goal was to try to get this farm bill out of the way before that took place.
I was going to say, the chance for bipartisanship now, between now and, say, November or whenever, is going to be hard to find. So we'll see how all this plays out.
Yeah.
Huh, fascinating. 86 to 11, so it goes to a conference committee, and that could take place this month, or not this month, could take place in July.
As soon as leadership appoints conferees, and I know that there's an interest on the House side of a couple of our members to serve on the conference committee, and don't know about the Senate side yet, but Illinois, I think there's a good chance that Illinois will be represented, and Illinois agricultural interests will be represented at that table.
Well, we'll also get into a little bit as well here, because how much, depending on the markup, because you still want to have something that would eventually be signed when it gets to the president's desk, and I'm sure that will dance around a little bit.
Oh, there'll be lots of trade-offs, and we'll be weighing in, you bet.
Fantastic. Adam Nielsen here. Hang on. This is RFD Today. Does the warmer weather have you itching for a weekend getaway? Take your Illinois Farm Bureau membership savings with you.
Farm Bureau members can save up to 20% at choice hotels, including favorites like Comfort Suites, Sleep Inn, Quality Inn and Suites, with even more to choose from.
Call 800-258-2847 or visit the Choice Hotels website to search all the hotels at once and to make advance reservations.
Contact your local county Farm Bureau for your discount code number.
Farm Week and FarmWeekNow.com journalist Kay Shipman connects rural routes for you. For 3 decades, Kay has delivered important news. She covers everything from legislative issues to the latest in soil and water conservation. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I love covering so many aspects of agriculture and providing readers with the facts they need to make better decisions. I also get to work with farmers and meet new people along the way.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
At Country Farm.
Bigger, faster, higher, wetter. Only at Six Flags, and only this summer, with one scream-inducing thrill after another, like Superman and Ninja. Plus, cool off all summer in our giant free water park with the all-new Typhoon Twister. Coming soon. Drop down a 5-story plunge, whirl around a 40-foot bowl, and ride the giant wave. Go for the best deal. Save up to $21 on admission at SixFlags.com. Go big. Go Six Flags St. Louis.
On September 24th, 2019, WGGH will celebrate 70 years on the air. George Dodds and Hardly Grisham both realized their dream in 1949 as WGGH crackled to life for the first time with a format of local information, country and western, and big band. Then in 1955, the station moved from its near Carbon Street location to a new state-of-the-art facility on Old Route 13 east of Marion and increased power power to 5,000 watts, delivering a signal into parts of 5 states. WGGH was one of the top-rated stations in Southern Illinois with its pop MOR format. In the late 70s, then sole owner George Dodds decided with FM taking hold, it was time to follow his heart and change to a Christian format, which remained until Fishback Media realized in 2008 that in order to remain relevant, programming must be diversified. A talk format with some remaining Christian programming was put into place and continues today. There's been many changes of format and ownership and location over the years, but one thing remains constant: WGGH's desire to first serve Marion and secondly Southern Illinois.
Dexter's Yard Care can take all the pain and strain out of maintaining your residential or business lawn. Think about it. After buying and maintaining the equipment, then all the time and sweating, and of course the gas, it may be more affordable and a lot easier to hire Dexter's Yard Care, and they're 100% fully insured. So if he cuts his foot off in your lawn, you're not responsible for it. Dexter's Yard Care, where they really do care. Call for your free estimate today, 618-926-6645 or facebook.com/Dexter's Yard Care.
Up-to-the-minute local information when you need it. Monster Radio at AM 1150 and WGGH.net.
All right, welcome back to RFD Today on a Friday with Adam Nielsen, National Policy Development at Illinois Farm Bureau. Boy, there were some things along the way here. So we were talking about Senator Durbin's and his amendment, which didn't make the final thing. And I remember waking up Wednesday and seeing the tweet from Senator Rubio about, I'm going to hold up the farm bill, that sort of thing. And the next day it passed, so I assume there was some maneuvering in there somewhere.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a negotiation. I'm not sure what at the end of the day he was able to achieve, but he got some attention.
It certainly got some attention. So that is it's fascinating to me. 2012 Farm Bill didn't go until 2014. This might actually happen in 2018, especially with what's going on now, the whole issue of a Supreme Court, plenty of trade disputes and all that going on. So it really is an interesting time. There's all to talk about immigration, and how to get farm and Farm Bureau initiatives through on a timely basis. This is quite the interesting time.
It is an interesting time, and I think they are motivated by the fact that there's this trade thing happening, and it's hard to get your finger on it, and they feel almost powerless in a sense to do anything about it right now. And immigration is another issue where a solution is desperately needed, but we've seen how that's played out over the last several weeks. It just seems to be constantly stuck in a state of campaign issue more than anything, and there were some attempts to try to address it, and they went down in flames in the House. So does it look like immigration is going to be those problems are going to be solved, and that agriculture will get the labor force that it needs before the election? My guess is no. Trade is, I think, going to continue to be something that we'll be talking about for the foreseeable future as the tariffs and the retaliation and the potential negotiations play out. So the Farm Bill is something very easy to tackle out of that group, and that's what they're going to do. So we'll get some assurance that the farm program will be very similar to what we have now for the next 5 years.
Yeah, it seems interesting that those other things that had virtually no assurances, because of them looming the way they are, help move the Farm Bill along.
I think so.
Yeah.
I would not. I totally agree with that. I think you know what? Sometimes you just have to figure out what you're able to do and do it. And the Farm Bill is right in front of them. It was something that can be achieved. And that's why I don't think it's going to be hung up too long in a conference committee. I know that they put provisions in farm bills so they can negotiate them out in conference, and, there's a little bit of give and take there. They don't always go in with the expectation that they're going to get everything in their bill. That's unrealistic, but there'll be some negotiations, but I don't think they're going to hold things up. I really, truly believe they're motivated to get this done as soon as possible.
Yeah, it was interesting to see what some of the headlines were after it passed yesterday. Some of the headlines were about hemp, industrialized hemp, because that was what the Senate Majority Leader wanted, or, or it could have just been the price tag of the whole thing, or just how that works, how it affects SNAP and all those things.
I'll be interested to see if that gets into the final package. I would assume it will, because Leader McConnell has, really made that his pet issue. And that's something that started in Illinois Farm Bureau. We were the ones who put support for legalizing industrial hemp in the American Farm Bureau policy. Now other states have seen opportunities there and have rallied around that. Wisconsin and Kentucky, of course, they're spending a lot of time on that issue. But, Illinois supports that idea too.
Wow. That was at an annual meeting?
That was an annual meeting a few years ago.
Wow. Trailblazers.
How about that?
Who knew?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So that's one of the issues, obviously, of what's going on in Washington. And it's interesting from a trade perspective because, you can pass all the resolutions you want. But this, when you're thinking about the three, the legislative and the judicial and the executive and all that, you just wonder, where is there a check and balance in there and the sort of thing like that? Because, they'd hate to be watching this helplessly just like we are.
Yeah, I mean, the agencies, USDA has been talking about CCC money and potential trade adjustment assistance at some point in time. And there's evidently some planning taking place way behind the scenes. There's not even any discussion of what it might look like or who would be recipients of it. But that's something that we're keeping an eye on. We're trying to find out more about. Obviously, the administration, too, the president and his top trade people are, they do have a game plan. They're really fighting a multi-front trade war right now. And it would be nice to see some resolution to at least one of those components. Maybe NAFTA can get wrapped up in the near future.
Oh, gosh.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, then this thing is thrown about here. What if the U.S. pulls out of the WTO?
Yeah, that's one of the things that we've started to talk about. That's the place for your disputes. We've had that in our policy for many years, support for working through the WTO and a rules-based system of trade. And, at the WTO, you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. But at least the process is there, and it doesn't. Tariffs usually don't enter into the picture immediately.
Yeah, this isn't like asking if we should renew our Costco membership. This is some big stuff here.
It is.
Adam Nielsen, also visit with EPA. I want to get into that while we have you here in studio for just a minute here on RFD Today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned for more on RFD Today, right here on the Illinois Farm Bureau Radio Network.
Farmers, are you seeing an increase in the loss of cattle and sheep in birthing pastures to federally protected vultures? Jackson County Farm Bureau wants to help lower that number. They are holding a black vulture mitigation workshop to help provide you with tools, resources, and techniques you need to disperse the flocks. Hear from Scott Beckerman, State Director of Wildlife Services for the USDA. This free program will be held Wednesday, July 25th at 6:30 p.m. at the Jackson County Farm Bureau. Contact their office with questions.
Corn. Thanks to Illinois corn farmers, you can see it just about everywhere here in the land of Lincoln. What you may not know is the unexpected places you can find corn, like your gas tank. 97% of all fuel sold in the U.S. is a 10% ethanol blend. And here in Illinois, we're a top producer of ethanol. Not only does it drive your car, it drives our economy. Be sure to proudly choose an ethanol blend at the pump the next time you fill up. Illinois runs on homegrown corn and Illinois-made ethanol. Visit ilcorn.org to find out more. A message from Illinois corn
WGGH Marion.
President Trump has made his first public comment since the murders of 5 journalists at the Annapolis Gazette newspaper in Maryland.
We will not ever leave your side. So our warmest, best wishes and regrets. Horrific, horrible thing.
District Attorney Wes Adams succeeded in having bail denied for suspect Jared Ramos as he began to build a case against the 38-year-old.
We brought to the judge's attention the evidence that suggested a coordinated attack, the barricading of a back door, and the use of a tactical approach and hunting down and shooting the innocent victims in this case.
2 of those injured in the attack today were released from the hospital. Canada is imposing tit-for-tat tariffs against American-made products, including lawnmowers and ketchup that could be subject to a 25% tariff on July 1st. The Dow is up 240. I'm Mike Morris.
It's Jeff from Cat Spot Litter. If you own a cat, you know how much of a hassle it is buying that heavy, dusty clay litter at the store every couple of weeks. Are you ready to save time and money? Well, listen up. I've invented a new cat litter that is lightweight, dust-free, and made from 100% real coconut. It's called Cat Spot Litter. Ain't nothing better at zapping cat urine smells either. The best part, for only $15, we ship a 30-day supply right to your front door. Shoot, we even offer a money-back guarantee. Jump on the coconut bandwagon and get rid of that toxic clumping clay litter. Start thinking healthy for you, your cat, and our planet. Go to catspotlitter.com and give it a try. Use promo code SAVE for 15% off your first order. Hey, I appreciate you listening.
FarmWeekNow.com and Farm Week keep you connected.
All right, here we go. Final segment with Adam Nielsen, National Policy at Illinois Farm Bureau. They were in D.C. this week making things happen as the Senate passed its version of the Farm Bill 86-11. Now, I know before you went, you said you were going to also have some meetings with EPA, so hopefully that was able to take place as well.
Yeah, while we were there, we wanted to stop in and say hey and talk about the Renewable Fuel Standard, the Waters of the United States rule, and how things are going on the dicamba front here in Illinois, and see what they're picking up from Illinois. So we spent some time on all of those issues. Unfortunately, from the Renewable Fuel Standard standpoint, the individual who was supposed to be in our meeting was with the administrator who was on the road that day. So we didn't get a chance. We mentioned some of our concerns about waivers and the slow walking of E15 and how we'd like that to speed up a little bit. So they took down our ideas and our thoughts. We, obviously are interested in being able to maintain registration for dicamba and have spent a lot of time helping train folks and getting people ready to go, and we're in the middle of that right now. They had indicated that they had reports from Illinois of 150,000 acres impacted. So, I think we want to make sure that that's correct information, and we want to make sure that when this period ends, that they have all the best information they can. But it was pretty clear to me that they're interested in keeping the registration going for this product. They know that it is desperately needed in Illinois, and they know that a lot of effort is being put into making sure that we're successful in its use this year.
Yeah. Thing with E15, it doesn't have to be necessarily this huge negotiation of we'll give you that if you give us this. It just we can make a case for having year-round E15, and let's boost some sales.
Yeah, and the time is running out on this summer, and so let's get it going now. Let's not miss another opportunity. If the president is insistent on E15, then the agency that works for him needs to get it rolling. So that message was delivered too.
The whole thing, let's see, it's more than 2 billion bushels of corn, if I remember right. Like, it sounded like one of the reports was even worse than we thought about all of these waivers that have taken place for hardship cases.
Yeah, it's 1.5 billion gallons, that's a lot of bushels.
It's a lot of bushels.
It's a huge number of bushels. And again, everything's hitting at once.
Yeah.
This has the same kind of implications, price-wise and everything else, and market demand as trade. So again, very important subject to discuss, and one that the administration really has a lot of say over.
Yeah. Now, did you say Waters of the U.S.? Did you throw that in there?
Yeah, we
as
threw
well?
that into the mix. Now, they have rewritten the rule. We're hoping that it's a solid rule, and they told us it was, and it is being reviewed by the Office of Management and Budget. So there was very little that they could say about it other than the process, and that OMB will look at this new rule, this proposed new rule, and then kick it back to the agency. And at some point, I'm guessing in the next few months, the comment period will open, and I would imagine that we will be weighing in and inviting our members to weigh in as well.
Fascinating. I was just thinking about this, having just been on vacation for a few days, and you're in a different town, and you're looking at signs, and there's road construction, all that sort of thing, and you got kids asking you questions. And at one point, I just say, okay, everybody stop. Let me concentrate on this sort of thing. I mean, you're talking about all this. I mean, there's a whole lot of project management taking place here. There's not a whole lot of time to say, stop, I gotta deal on this one thing right here.
These are all hands on deck exercises, and we're asking a lot, but these are tough times, and we're looking for the effort.
Well, especially when you see some of these things as we watch the market drop after Memorial Day. It's one thing to just have concerns. When those concerns you can specifically tie to a dollar amount during the growing season after several years of difficult commodity prices.
Right.
It's noteworthy.
Yeah, there's a great graph that University of Illinois Farm Doc folks put out on the trade issue that shows different points in time when different announcements were made, what the market impacts were, and how the last 3-4 weeks haven't been very pleasant. And that graph was shared with each one of the elected officials that we visited with.
Nice one-page keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice leave behind.
Yep.
The whole ARC PLC thing with a minute left, I assume like they would talked about evolutionary, not revolutionary.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's...
Yeah, I think the program is going to behave as much as, as just like it does today, other than the geographic location of the farm will be taken into account instead of the office location in terms of where you get your payment. And I think there's going to be one or two other improvements if they get through from the Senate side on ARC. Then again, we're looking at different payment limitations and a different number of people involved in the farming operation in both bills. So those will be a couple of issues that we'll be watching very carefully.
One of those great north-south arguments that have taken place year after year.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, sir. Stay with it.
Thank you, sir.
Take the rest of the day off. Tell everybody you said it was okay. Yeah, Adam Nielsen back from D.C. They had 3 awfully active and productive days in Washington earlier this week. Stay tuned. More to come on RFD today.
The Marion-based nonprofit group Equipping Haiti is having a fundraiser dinner for its late July mission trip to Haiti, Saturday, June 30th at 6 p.m. at Third Baptist Church in Marion. The dinner is an authentic Haitian meal consisting of chicken, beans and rice, a dessert, and drink. The meal is free, but the group will be taking donations to help fund its trip, which is July 23rd through August 2nd. The mission team will be assisting with a vacation Bible school, organizing an effort to feed more than 200 Haitian children each day, and helping to identify employment opportunities for the Haitian people in the communities of Damien and Bigorod near the capital city of Port-au-Prince. Reservations are being requested to help the group prepare for the proper amount of food. For more information, you can call 618-751-9239, search for Equipping Haiti on Facebook, or visit their website at www.equippinghaiti.org.
The local station, Monster Radio, at AM 1150 and WGGH.net.
8 to 9 for soybeans and almost 20 cents higher for wheat contracts. July corn up 6.5, 351.5. December up 6 3/4, 372 3/4. July soybeans are up 9, 870 1/4. November up 8.5 at 892. That's going as we approach Independence Day. That's still about $1.50 Actually, $1.60 lower than where we were around Memorial Day for those November soybean contracts. July wheat up 17 3/4, $4.97 1/4. Livestock, July hogs up 110, 82.22. August cattle up 155 at 105.27. So a higher day for livestock and for grain and soybeans. This is the RFD Radio Network. All right, welcome back to RFD Today on a Friday. I'm DeLoss Yonke. Rita Frazier and Farm Week's Dan Grant. Dan Grant is in Germany right now, by the way. It'd be fun to talk to him. So we had folks in from Germany a month or so ago, and now Dan is with him in Germany. So hopefully we'll talk to him when he comes back. But a couple of weeks ago, an IBA had its summer conference up in Galena. Both Rita and Dan got to sit with Dale Funstein, Illinois Beef's Farm Family of the Year. They're from Whiteside County.
Continuing a conversation with Dale Funstein, Whiteside County, the Illinois Beef Association Farm Family of the Year. You're head of the family. So what does that mean in your household? And a little bit about, who taught you the great lessons of being a good cattleman?
That would be my dad. He raised cattle. He was on the Whiteside County board for many years. So I guess we were talking about that yesterday at our kind of affiliate meeting. I really started to think, going back even to my grandparents. My grandparents were volunteers or members or on the board of the Grange.
Wow.
And then then my dad got on the beef board, and then I was asked if I would be on the pork board. So back in the day, Dad was on the cattle and I was on the pork. And I was on the pork board for almost 30 years.
Wow.
And then my dad passed away and I got out of the hogs. And so then I was asked if I wanted to be on the Illinois beef board. And then from there I joined the county one. And the county had kind of drifted off and there wasn't very many members, or board members, put it that way, and members too. And so when I got on the board, I started talking to people and found out there was a couple people that weren't interested in being on the board, and we've gathered up quite a few board members.
You mentioned wanting to carry on and be a farmer when you're in grade school. Did it come easy for you? What does it take to be a good grain and livestock farmer in Illinois?
It just takes a lot of time, a lot of work, some luck involved for sure. Being at the right place at the right time, that's a lot of it. Good help. I built the monoslope cattle sheds back in like 07, 08, 09, and I was kind of hoping my son would come back, and he did, but that we'd gotten so big that I had to have 2 hired men.
Wow.
Besides, but it left me have time to do the volunteering at the IBA board and things like that, come to these meetings and go to DC and all that. But
tell us about that butcher shop that you opened.
The butcher shop, at one time it was going to be a restaurant, and then a buddy of mine and we were talking one day, we were going to a cattle sale, and he said, you know what, if you went and opened a butcher shop, which we don't have one in town, that maybe then you could sell to all the restaurants. And so little by little, I'm getting one restaurant here and then one restaurant there. And it's beginning to blossom, I think. It's only been 8 months, and we've got 2 restaurants so far. So, and if they're not using all of our meat, we're trying to do 1, 2, 3 head a week that we butcher. I have them butchered someplace else, and then we process them at the butcher shop. So if you came in, you could get fresh meat at the butcher shop, and it'd be pretty much all my meat.
What kind of regulations do you have to abide by today to run a butcher shop?
Well, it entailed way more than what I expected. You have the HACCP program that you have to go through, and the SSOP. You have to be, you're not dealing with just a state. In the retail area, you're dealing with the local health department. So, you know, they come and inspect you, not as much as the state. The state pretty much shows up every day. They have an operation. If you're operating, you're going to be operating from 8 to 4. That's their hours. So it's a little intense.
So how exciting is it that now you're able to see that product all the way from, you know, farm to plate, really? Well,
it's the exciting thing to watch people come in and get, oh, I'm so glad you opened the butcher shop back up, and really we've been missing good meat, and this is way better than the grocery store, and so, but yeah, it's been a learning curve. You know, you've had to learn the cuts of the meat and how to cut it and where to cut it, and I've been fortunate in that side of things to find a butcher that had been there for 17 years, and then my other butcher, he's a little bit younger, and he's filled in and helped, because he told me when I started this thing, I said, well, if you really wanted to, could you help me out, get this started? And he said, oh, yeah. And then we were lucky enough to get a lady that had just graduated from University of Illinois in animal science and was looking for a part-time job. And so she is now a meat cutter. And then the retail side of things, I ended up getting Patty and Kent Farley are my partners, and Patty Farley was one of my wife's students when she was in the vocational center teaching business education, and she was working at the feed company where I get my DeKalb feeds, and her husband was my nutritionist. And so then Michaela had just now, 2 weeks ago, and I'd talked to her about a job before, and she was kind of looking to get into the vet stuff, and she really didn't want to cut meat. So I called her up a week before graduation. I said, Michaela, did you ever find a job? No, haven't found a job yet. I said, would you come and work in my office? I'll think about it. She came the next day, interviewed. We hired her on the spot. She graduated on a Friday and started work on a Monday. Lucky.
Look how many jobs you've generated from your farm and this butcher shop now. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, very amazing. Yeah, very amazing.
One final question, and I don't know if you have one answer, but do you have a highlight? You know, what's your best memory today?
I guess the best memory has to go clear back to the one farm tour that we had, which featured Temple Grandin at the farm. She was at the farm. We had 360 people show up. And we served them all ribeye sandwiches. And she did an hour and 15-minute PowerPoint presentation. And everybody just loved it. Wondered when I was going to do it again. I haven't had the time or anticipation of doing it right away. But and then the Beef Association at the banquet, I was in Washington, D.C., and one of the board members texted me and said, well, our 50th anniversary of the banquet's coming up, you know, for Whiteside County. And who are you going to get? And I says, Baxter Black, of course. We did.
Fantastic. Rita Frazier and Farm Week Stan Grant involved in the interview with the Funsteins from annual meeting a couple weeks ago at Illinois Beef. On Monday's program, Mark Gebhards, Senior Executive Director of Governmental Affairs and Commodities, will talk Farm Bill, trade, and many other issues as well. He'll be on the program. Also, well, Dale Dirkholz, Senior Analyst at AgriVisor, is in on a Monday, and we'll see how long these higher prices today can hold. Hopefully they can hold the entire day, but just for one day, unfortunately. And also, we're going to visit with someone at USDA about black vultures, which have certainly been a problem in parts of southern Illinois this spring. When we come back, Sabrina Berkowitz will talk social media next on RFD Today.
The WGGH Community Bulletin Board.
Marion Community Day at Rent One Park is Friday, June 29th, when the Southern Illinois Miners face off against the Gateway Grizzlies. For tickets or more information, contact the Marion Chamber of Commerce. The Marion-based nonprofit Equipping Haiti is having a fundraiser dinner for its July 2018 mission trip to Haiti. Authentic Haitian food will be served Saturday, June 30th at 6 p.m. at Third Baptist Church in Marion. The dinner is free, but donations will be accepted. Reservations are being requested to prepare enough food. For more information, call 618-751-9239. There will be an inflatable fun run at the Harrison Bruce Sports Complex in Heron. The Extreme Rush Inflatable Fun Run is Saturday, June 30th, starting at 8 a.m. For more information, go online to inflatablefunrun.com.
Get your church, nonprofit, or charitable organization's announcement broadcast. Just send it to WGGH Calendar, P.O. Box 340, Marion, Illinois, 62959. Or click WGGH.net.
If you need to move some earth, call Neat Cut Dirt Work. You've heard the Neat Cut name for years. They can do topsoil, fill dirt, tear buildings or houses down, dozer work. You name it, Neat Cut can move some earth. Neat Cut Dirt Work in Marion. Call 922-4400. 922-4400. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Neat Cut Dirt Work in Marion. 922-4400.
Hello, this is Tim Petrovich, General Manager of Monster Radio WGGH and host of Dateline Marion, the radio program. In our inaugural show this Saturday morning, we talk with 59th District State Senate candidate Steve Webb.
There is no sane person that would say that makes sense, that one child could be worth less than $10,000 while another child in the same state gets over $25,000 in funding.
That's Dateline Marion, the radio program, Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 1150, FM 98.5, and worldwide at WGGH.net.
Monster Radio, WGGH is Southern Illinois.
Welcome back to RFD Today on a Friday. I'm DeLoss Yonke, and at this time we always welcome in from the Social Media Command Center at Illinois Farm Bureau, Senior Social Media Specialist Sabrina Berkowitz.
That's
How
a
are
lot
you?
of S's. Good morning.
That's right. If you're coming from the command center, does that make you commander?
I know, yeah.
I don't think we have commander anywhere in the organizational chart.
You should just
but
call me Sergeant Sabrina for the day.
Sergeant Sabrina.
Yes.
That sounds all right.
I think it does too.
So we were talking earlier on the program with Adam Nielsen quite a bit about Farm Bill and what has taken place, and
Yes.
that he said also that a lot of members went to work on social media.
Yes, it was fantastic. Thank you to everybody who responded. This was a social media only action request for us, and we were kind of wanting to flood Senator Durbin's social media feeds, and I think we did that very effectively just based on the traffic that I saw coming through and all the people that tagged us in their tweets and Facebook posts. So good job to everybody.
Yeah, it is a quick way to help get the message across.
Exactly.
So that's good.
Yeah.
It's also interesting more and more that, one of the things we always thought about social media, whether that's Facebook or Twitter or in any of the other channels, was that we can hide behind this wall of secrecy. My name's not on there. My picture's not on there. You don't really know who I am. I have some account, so I can say things that I wouldn't normally say. I could say things to you through social media that I would not say face-to-face.
Yeah,
It
because
turns out those walls are getting smaller and smaller,
yeah,
though.
exactly. So if you hadn't figured it out already, we're going to talk a little bit today about civility on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, absolutely. There are, and it can be about policy. I mean, it can be about favorite color, flavor of ice cream, whatever
Yeah.
it is. But man, people, you can be awfully tense about things,
Yes.
but you can also reread it before you hit send and
Exactly.
have an idea what you're sending.
So this week with the action request in particular, we had a lot of trolls, a lot of people saying some really terrible things on Facebook and Twitter. And what I really want people to understand is just because you're saying it on social media and not directly to another person, it doesn't mean that there's not still consequences for what you're saying. And I'm making an argument for everybody to tone their rhetoric down just a little bit and be a little bit more civil. And I think there's some perceptions out there, DeLoss, and I've written down 4 of them for today.
Sure.
I think maybe one perception is I can say what I want without consequences.
I would disagree with that, yeah, especially if you're going to put your name behind something.
We know that's not true. So in reality, your tweet or your Facebook post that has profanity or nasty words or something inappropriate that's not family friendly, that can be made public. Your followers are going to see that. They're going to think, what kind of person is that? And you also have to remember there's another person on the other side the receiving end of that social media
You know, the
who
whole,
sees that.
especially when we're doing issues-based work here, it is designed to have consequences. This is to get a message across. So if you come in with something that's vulgar, profane, or lewd, or anything like that, or just inappropriate, that's probably not going to advance your cause very well.
And that's my next one is insulting others is the best way to help people see they are wrong. That is false.
Yeah.
So that's not going to help anybody. No one's going to pay attention to what you're saying other than to look at it and say, wow, this person is so inappropriate, I don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah.
So you're not creating any sort of change.
Right. There have been so many things that I just wanted to just say something, in reply, but, what good does it do? Whose glory is it for? That sort of thing. I mean, it doesn't.
And that's a
doesn't make
segue into the next one. The next perception I think is out there is I need to let people know how angry I am.
Yeah.
Actually,
right now.
You really don't. I mean, it's okay to have good, healthy conversations with one another, but just blasting your anger all over the internet, it's not going to do anything. It might make you feel better temporarily, but when you sit down and think about it after the fact, you're probably going to feel kind of bad maybe for how you treated that person or what you said.
Yeah. Okay, that's through. What's the fourth one?
Yeah, the fourth one is by showing my anger, I'm going to change something. So how many times is good